city brimming with hockey tradition, Montreal, home of the Canadiens. It's the World Cup of Hockey. Molson Center, round two, single elimination, heavily favored Canada against the surprise of the European pool, Germany. Good evening, everyone. Along with John Davidson, I'm Mike Emrick. We started with 8 teams, we're down to 6, and by late Sunday night, there will only be 2.
Well, you look at this game here, Mike, and certainly Canada is favored. The Team USA club earned the right to sit back for a few days and watch the other teams battle, as did Team Sweden in winning their pool from the European side. So a nice little reward for those two clubs. Tomorrow night, Finland and Russia go at it. The winner will move on, of course, and the winner tonight will move on to play Sweden Saturday night. So this is a game where Canada is heavily favored. They have not played their best yet in this tournament, and their coaches and players hope that it starts for them tonight.
Yeah, there could be a lot of pressure inside here if it doesn't work too well in the first period. Take a look at our Bud Ice six-pack for the night. Steve Yzerman has played only one game, and he got the winner. 3:10 was left against Slovakia. He'll be on the ice wearing number 19. Wayne Gretzky has been the best player for his team. And Cujo, Curtis Joseph, with victories in both starts. For Germany, legendary center and captain Dieter Hagen. Benoit Doucet, one of 5 Canadians from right here in Montreal in the lineup tonight. And surprise starter and winner over the Czech Republic, a goaltender named Joseph Pepe Heiss.
When you think about the players, you look at Steve Yzerman. He didn't even know if he was going to dress in the last game. He did dress. It was in Ottawa. It was against the Slovakians. He got to the front of the goal. Just over 3 minutes to go in a tie games. The entire country of Canada holding its breath. The Slovakians had them tied. Yzerman got the big goal, and everybody breathed a sigh of relief across Canada. Yzerman went from not playing, winning the game there in his first game, and tonight he plays on a line with Eric Lindros and Brendan Shanahan. So it's been the elevator ride right to the top of the class, and he'll get a lot of ice time tonight.
He has had that. A scare for Canada. How are they doing now?
I think better, because they've finally been able to stay right here in either Ottawa or Montreal, which two cities very close to one another. They've been able to practice a couple of times, and above that, get rest. They need to develop their team chemistry in a hurry, something they haven't done that well on the ice to this point, in a hurry to go out and beat the Germans and then to move on.
Well, for Germany, what is this? Throw the lariat around the steer and just hang on?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to try very hard to play a strong defensive game first, trying to hold in and hang in, not take bad penalties, stay out of the penalty box. They're a pesky, hard-working group, not nearly as big as the Canadians. Going to just try and hold on.
Well, let's see how that pesky, hard-working group does against Canada tonight. It's Germany and Canada from Molson Center in Montreal. We'll be back with the start of it all, including the Mounties, in a moment. He is being brought to you by Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light. Bud Ice, beware the penguins. By Bauer, the original hockey company. Bauer, leave an impression. By the new Dodge, we're thinking ahead. And by the intense, slammin', wicked, headbanging Taste of Dew. Back here in Montreal, Team Canada just now stepping onto the ice. Let's check in downstairs with the third member of our crew, Jim Fox.
Thanks very much, guys. You guys have already touched on the atmosphere surrounding the Canadian team. Certainly there is that overwhelming favorite and underdog situation following this game. Now, when that happens, you want to change a negative into a positive. There's no doubt the other night the Canadian team were scared in that game against Slovakia, but they regrouped. I think you see this situation sometimes prior to the NCAA basketball tournament. If you have a strong regular season, a lot of time the coaches will say they prefer to lose a game near the end of the regular season so they can get focused going into the tournament. I find that's exactly what the Canadian team is trying to do right here. They are focused to play this game. JD, you just touched on it. They're settled down, they're comfortable. If there's an atmosphere that's prevailing here around the Canadian team, it's much more confident than it was in the round robin.
Okay, Jim, history says that Canada rallies after early flustering in tournaments like this. We'll see if the rally begins tonight when we come back for the start. The largest seating capacity in this tournament. Not filled tonight. Good representation, however, 21,361 seats. 2 teams lined up at the blue lines for the anthems. games of Germany and Canada.
Starting in goal for Team Canada, Curtis Joseph in the preliminary round. In goal, he beat Russia and Slovakia, so he has a 2-0 record and a proud father for the third time in this past week.
Pepe Heist, the German goalie, over his last 4 international games has not lost. Of the 2 wins, one was a shocker over Canada at the World Tournament in April, and then Saturday in his hometown, Garmisch-Partenkirchen, Germany, over the Czech Republic. The officials for our contest tonight, Dan Maruelli, the referee Wayne Bonney, and Brad Lazarowicz are the linesmen. It will be Primo to start, with Rod Brindamore working on the left side. And across on the right wing, it'll be Claude Lemieux. Germany taking the face-off, and Jan Bende puts it in. Very quickly, Germany makes a change.
Real quick change. So George Kingston, the head coach of the German club, he's going to try to match up. He'll have to change a lot on the fly because Team Canada is the home team, so they get the last change.
George Kingston, who has coached NHL as an assistant and a head coach with San Jose, is used to line matching. Lemieux a shot, and a save made by Heist. Claude Lemieux pursued from behind, worked over and taken to the board solidly by Daniel Nowak. Lemieux flipped it along, and it's sent back in. Reem Pika doing that, and they come to the bench on a change in lines, and we have an icing call.
Couple of hits during the first shift of this game. Look at the defenseman pinch for Team Germany. That is Hecht with a good hit on a great big giant of a man, and Keith Primo. Look at the defenseman. Boom, that's a great collision, and that gets players into the game early. And it looks like Team Germany, who does not have the size or talent, certainly not sitting back, Mike. Their very first shift, standing up, defenseman throwing the body, changing on the fly, the whole thing.
The forwards are giving up an average of 20 pounds and 2 inches to the Canadian forwards. The NHL average size is 6'1", 195. The forwards for Germany average 5'11", 181. Vincent Damphousse brings this on, has Gretzky and drops to him. Gretzky fed one in front, but that's shaken right away. Gretzky trying again. Trevor Linden moving in. That one chopped high to the air by Benoit Doucet. Comes back over. Gretzky controlling for Team Canada. Jammed one in front. Doucet knocked that one down, and then it came across the net mouth. Michael Heidt took the hit. Puck swung along by Goldman, but swung to the front by Gretzky. Goldman defending, and a second time. Goldman up the boards, but this time it's Damphousse. Damphousse tries a wraparound, and it kicked off skates. Loose puck, flipped high in the air off Doucet, and it swung back around and down the ice. Plenty of pressure for Team Canada.
Good pressure, but also good defensive play, as Canada did not get the clean shot they wanted. There was a puck sitting near the top of the crease, and Trevor Linden, who's very good around the top of the goal crease, could not get to this rebound. Watch the wraparound attempt by Damphousse, and look at in front. You can see there how Linden could not get to the puck as he had the German defenseman on him. It looked like Height was all over him, and good job defensively. And Damphousse has played well. Gretzky, I said to Wayne, "Paul, you're playing well. You're skating well." He said, "Oh, Damphousse on the wing has been really, really good." And what's interesting is, year after year, Damphousse is a very slow starter with the NHL season. Usually 2 months in, 3 months in, he really gets his offensive game going. It's been different here. Damphousse has been flying, and flying early in this tournament.
Well, we mentioned Gretzky's been pretty well considered the best player on Team Canada. Damphousse has to be a close second, though.
Yeah, I would think so. And both on the same line. Here, one of the players for Team Germany, I think it was Brandl, moved into the circle, so he prematurely did that. So they throw the centerman out because of that. Right away, Germany loses the draw cleanly.
Coffey's shot is knocked down, brought on by Leo Steffen, and he sends a bouncer near Curtis Joseph. It is Foote wrapping it around for Yzerman with Lindros as well as Brendan Shanahan. And here they come in a 3-on-1. Coffey moving in, fed one in front, and it was tipped aside by Heist. And then Lindros went into the net, and it is dislodged.
Everybody appears to be all right. Canada rushing quickly. The Canadian Keys, as we look at it going into the game, we think that they are the better team. A lot of it has to do with their size, but they've got to use it. They've got to make the German take penalties. The Germans do not have a very good penalty killing team. Their team chemistry for Canada, we've seen them play 3 games. It's not there yet. We haven't seen all the lines clicking like Team USA has been. And remember Slovakia. It took a goal, as we mentioned in the open, by Yzerman late to win it. Canada needs to start quickly and not stop all the way through against a very pesky German hockey club.
Lindros with a stick up high.
Accidental high stick. It may be Ludeman that took the penalty. See on the draw, Canada's been good on the faceoffs. There is where Lindros went forward with the puck on purpose, and there you're going to see the stick right there go right across the side of the face of Eric Lindros. So Canada will get the power play. Again, Lindros with help from, was it Joe Sakic on the other side, I believe, was heading for the loose puck.
Canada's power play, you mentioned the difficulty that Germany has had in killing. They have the worst percentage in the tournament, having yielded on 8 of 19. Andy Murray has put together a pretty good power play, but of course when you have that kind of talent it often follows, and in the case of Canada it has. They're 4 for 15.
The 2-minute penalty for the accidental high stick. You know, the German team played well against the Swedes for the first 35 minutes, and then all of a sudden the German team took 5 straight penalties and the game was over because of the power play. And very similar situation against the Finns. The penalty killing a problem for the German club.
Healing off with this one, it's Vincent Domfus. Domfus holds, works it around behind Gretzky in front to Lindros, and it went just wide of the post on the shot. Worked back around now to Gretzky, keeping it in and handing over for Joe Sakic. It's brushed ahead, and moving back out with it is Jason Meyer, but it's taken away by Lindros. Meyer trying to regain his stick and get back into play, but it's stolen for a moment by Rumrich. Now Meyer gliding to the box. Had Rumrich been able to control, Meyer would have still been back at center ice, ready to take an open pass. But holding the stick by the blade made that a little difficult. Puck played along by Shanahan, on back to Wayne Gretzky. Walks in, big drive, score! The 5th shot by Team Canada becomes the first goal of the game.
Wayne Gretzky stepped into this one. Glenn Sather was talking a few days ago. Glenn Sather running and coaching the Team Canada club. Talked about Gretzky and the jump he's had on his legs, how he's been sharp, and he said another thing, his shot. He's just not blasting the puck towards the net. He's shooting it with authority, and it's going where he wants it to go. And there you can see the good setup with Joe Sakic screening the goaltender. From the top of the circle, Gretzky on the stick side beats the goaltender. Joe Sakic made sure he gave the goaltender a hard time in seeing the shot. Gretzky scores on the power play, and again, this German club, trouble with that penalty killing unit.
Power play goal by Gretzky becomes his 3rd. We'll get the assist for you in a moment, but Canada is ahead early 1-0. Sylvain Cote along to Lemieux. Stood up by the checking of Stefan Usdorf for the Washington Capitals, and he has it and wrists one. Joseph made that stop and handed over to Stevens. Went off of Primo. Nice keep by Goldman, and his shot is right on goal, and he hangs on. He being Curtis Joseph, who's faced 2 shots and gotten them both his teams ahead.
Training is such a bore.
Nothing's more intense than slamming a dude. Whoa, Andre's really on fire. Whoa. Gotta hand it to those new coaches.
Bravo! Brilliant! Smash it! Good shot!
Out.
Lots and lots, tons and tons of tennis balls. Some of the things that are on my Discover card statement. I travel quite a bit. Ooh, I didn't know that the golf balls were on here. Just relax, enjoy nature, and very good. Babidochromis, Caeruleus. They don't want to play with me now because I beat them 90% of the time. I'll take out $100 to buy the bait, gas up the boat.
How many credit cards make a statement like that?
Let's see, what else do I have on this?
It pays to Discover. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
We've looked at the keys for the Canadian club. Here's what we think the keys are for Team Germany. Try to hold up the Canadian forwards. In other words, slow them down through the blue line so they don't move in and kill a defenseman looking for the puck. Strong defense and penalty killing. We've already seen their penalty killing is a problem. And to try to survive through the first period and be close to put additional pressure on the Canadian Hockey Club. It's a tall order for the club.
It is indeed. Shanahan and Coffey get the assist on Gretzky's power play goal at 3:09. Puck fed to the back and hurried by Brad Bergen to the corner. Leo stepping up with it there. extra check thrown in by Andreas Lupsig, but instead it's played by Stevens. Pesky forechecking by Germany, but ahead now comes Sakic, watched by Ludeman. Sakic trying to muscle his way by, can't do it. It's pitched away by Heiss. Thomas Brandl given a good hit by Messier. So Cote just past the 4-minute mark of the first period. Gretzky with the game's only goal. The shots are 5-2. Puck spun back in by Lupsig.
Trying to watch the pace of the game and the styles. The German club not sitting back. They're trying to forecheck. They're trying to work the boards as we see here. And their defensemen are pinching. See how they're right there. Meyer stayed in the zone. They're not backing out unless they have to. You can see how the Germans are trying to find offense.
Here's Theo Fleury moving in, and he's shoved off by Meyer. George Kingston said our goal in this game is to earn respect, and you do not earn respect by playing not to lose. Dom Foose trying to work to the front. You can be so careful that all of a sudden you really lose anything in terms of your competitiveness in a game just by trying to keep the score close. Obviously no one wants to get burned here and to get whittled by 6 or 7 goals, and that could happen. But the aggressiveness of the Germans in forechecking and the pinching that you mentioned shows that they're going to carry a style here.
Yeah, it's like Slovakia with Team USA. USA won each period 3-1, 9-3 overall. But I'll tell you what, it was a fun game to watch, and the Slovakians tried to make a game out of it. They battled, they skated, they had great scoring chances. And we hope we see the same right here with this game.
Lindros steams it in on the bounce. Heiss sweeps it one-handedly behind it, centered in front, but plenty of German defense there.
Net off to Mooring, and no one has noticed it.
Dieter Hagen, the captain of Team Germany, brings it ahead. Hagen, the veteran, to the slot, but it's checked away from Height. Swung around by Doucet, and pinching back in is Hagen again. Hagen had never been a captain of any team after all those great years in Germany, but he's captain of this one. Puck worked back to head now for Yzerman, moving ahead with Eric Lindros. Yzerman shakes to Lindros, to the slot. Shanahan escapes one check.
Finally realized it now that the net was off to Mooring. The linesman blows the play dead.
We asked George Kingston before the game about his plan for playing against Canada tonight.
Well, I hope that they're very respectful, but not in awe. I hope that they come out and do the things that we must do. I've tried to encourage them to take initiative and be prepared to play a very good team game, a good game of defense, and then take the game to the Canadians.
Team Germany flew here through Paris, and they found all the airline tickets had been made out to Czech Republic players. That's how confident tourney organizers were the Czechs would beat the Germans last weekend. There wasn't time to change the tickets over, so one guy flew over his Yager, another guy flew over his Nedved.
By the way, they came over here on Monday, so they've had an adequate amount of time to adjust to the time differences from Europe to this portion of North America. They've been able to work out, practice, and get ready for the game.
Cote threw it back off, but it's taken by Oostorff. Oostorff looking, he had Bend in front, but could not get it there. Rod Brindamore up with it. Throws one along that's taken by Lemieux, handed on to Primo, wanting to get by the defense, but cannot. Brad Bergen converged there along with Ludeman. Thrown back in for the setup by Heiss. A shift change for both teams.
Heiss, the goaltender, has had to handle the puck quite a bit. He's termed an adequate puck-handling goaltender. Not great, but adequate. And he'll have to be very good here. If Canada has problems, they'll throw the puck in at him, and it's his job to hand it off to his defenseman and do a good job of it.
Joseph Heiss plays for Bob Murdoch, one-time Chicago Blackhawks coach, over in Cologne, Germany.
Bobby Murdoch did a good job over there. Heiss, by the way, look at the front of his toes. He's got those white toe caps. People shoot the puck so hard that if you don't wear some form of protection there, it will hit the toe cap and sting and hurt your toes. And in fact, many times you'll see goaltenders lose their toenails themselves, knocked right off the toe. So he's worn some extra equipment there to try and stop the pain.
Over 10 years, did that ever happen to you?
Oh, you know, when I was younger, 15, 16, 17 years of age, when they made skates a lot differently than what they do now, yeah, a lot of times. 1 or 2 toenails a year, like every single year, and it was painful, especially in those outdoor Canadian cold arenas. With that cold weather, it stung a little more.
Here's Eric Desjardins with a pass on to Fleury. Little tap on across to Sakic with Messier. Gave it to him. Trouble on the skate, though. Heiss had trouble controlling, and it is taken by Thomas Brandl. Brandl working it back ahead. Leo Steffen walking it on for Germany. 1-0 Team Canada ahead. 7.5 minutes have been played. Theo Fleury bringing it on. Fleury controlling for Canada. Centered one that went off Randall and is covered by Heiss. And play is stopped. We'll return to Montreal, Quebec, Canada. For the continuation of Canada-Germany in a moment.
This year, Dallas Stars season tickets are really going to fly. Because this year, you get a free round-trip ticket on American Airlines or American Eagle with every full season ticket you buy. Anywhere they fly in the continental U.S., Toronto or Montreal. Taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. Dallas Stars hockey. Now boarding. Call 214-GO-STARS for ticket information.
Look for the warning signs. Let Dig Test help you locate buried facilities before you dig. Call before you dig.
You see the difference in size. Canada on top, Germany on the bottom. Forwards and defense are decisively larger for Canada than for Germany. 2 inches and 20 pounds different in the forward ranks.
That's a huge difference. Huge difference.
Canada made the most of its size in its first game against Russia. Did not since that time. Not against the U.S., not against Slovakia. Lost to the U.S., defeated Slovakia. Puck controlled on defense by Eric Goldman. He puts it back down, and Paul Coffey will go to get it. Icing touch-up. Jim Fox downstairs. Jim?
Well, with Wayne Gretzky scoring the first goal tonight, interesting story developing with Wayne. Obviously, this tournament is played in the summertime, and Wayne has been talking about maybe giving some advice to some parents out there, talking about young kids playing too much hockey throughout the year. In the summertime, Wayne feels that kids should put the skates away and wait till the hockey season starts once again. He also feels they should play baseball, hand-eye coordination, soccer for their agility, get away from hockey and learn to be a true entire athlete.
Walter Gretzky, Wayne's father, sent him to 0 hockey schools. None. Said he shouldn't be playing hockey in the summer. Pass over 2 lines. Now, a lot of people we know run hockey schools. We're just reporting.
Oh, and some of them are very good. You know, interesting, Jimmy Fox talked about the youth of America and Canada and what they should do. He's playing against here for a couple of shifts now, number 29. His name is Heck. Heck was a first rounder this past draft with the St. Louis Blues, only 20 years of age. So I'm sure Mike Keenan and the St. Louis Blues Hockey Club, along with their fans, will be watching this young player to see how he plays in a game of this magnitude against Wayne Gretzky. If he sees a lot of him during the game, it'll be quite a little barometer to check the progress of the young player.
Puck ripped around now for Shanahan. Shanahan lobbed it back, and it's drilled in by Brad Bergen. Bergen playing in his first game of the tournament. He's been injured. Worked along by Scott Stevens, and it'll go down for an icing against Canada. Bergen hustling down, Lindros after him, and the touch-up. Intermission report brought to you by the new Dodge. Will include Jim Fox chatting with the very colorful, as always, Brendan Shanahan. A feature on Mark Messier. Highlights of this first period and more. So we're nearing the 10-minute mark, John, and that often by a team that is overmatched is sort of a boundary line on how they think they're doing. How do you assess this as we get close to that 10-minute mark?
Shots are 6-2 in favor of Canada. Only the 1-0 score, and that was a power play goal. I think the pace has been lacking here. We haven't seen much pace in this game. It's not fast, and I think that is what the Germans would like here. A slow-down game where Canada's having trouble getting their pace, getting their legs, getting 2 passes completed in a row, maybe even 3 right there. You see how the pass wasn't completed because Cote had no time to make the pass. The more this happens, the more this German club has a chance. Oh, baby, did Stevens get hit? Oh, and a clean hit, too.
That was Dieter Hagen with the hit.
Oh,
the shot by Meyer was saved.
Stevens is hurting. He's got no legs. He got thumped. He ducked. He went right down, ducked to avoid the hit, and he has been dazed big time. It was a clean hit, and if Scotty hadn't ducked down to avoid the hit, he would have taken the hit a lot better. Instead, he ducked right down, and he got his head and shoulders accordioned right into the boards. Watch the puck rolling along. Now watch him duck. Hagen comes in, and the hip caught the shoulder and head of Scotty Stevens, and as he went to get to the bench, his legs were failing him. He was going down. they held him up with the help of the linesman and got him to the bench. He's a tough guy, and he'll sit there and try to get his faculties. I guarantee you, he may have some trouble trying to get back on the ice and be real sharp mentally. He got nailed.
That's Ken Lowe, Kevin Lowe's brother, standing over him, the trainer, in his 19th year of doing this. It'll be his 8th season coming up with the Edmonton Oilers.
He did a great job prior to that with the Edmonton Eskimos of the Canadian Football League. So Team Canada not strong in the blue line like Team USA. That could be a serious problem for them if Scott Stevens has trouble coming back.
Ustorf for Germany. Takes the tap right back again. Gets help from Jan Benda, who carries. Benda pivoting, looking to the back. Tried one in front that ricocheted away from Nowak. And is controlled by Team Canada's Scott Niedermayer.
This German club is just, they're like piranha. They're just coming and circling whoever has the puck and trying to agitate and bump. They're Canada again. They can't make that defense from the pass from the defense to the forward.
Good work by Primo, or that would have been a scorcher by Ustorf. Puck work back around now for Claude Lemieux. 9.5 gone first period. Lemieux shovels one, calmly blocked by Heiss. Punches it back to the corner.
Heiss should catch that and handle it better. I think he's a little bit nervous, Mike. He has not handled the puck very well around the goal net at all.
Mark McKay bringing it on. McKay just wiped out of the play by Adam Foote, and back comes Team Canada. Coffey's passes off Fleury. Fleury to the corner with Height. Coming back, though, is Mark Messier to help Fleury. Mark Messier stepped into by Stefan Ustorf. Loose puck and trying to get a swat at it, but not able to do so was Joe Sakic, and so it's Thomas Brandl for Germany. The shots are 7-3. The goals are 1-0 Canada. Canada with 7 of the 10 shots, given right up to Leo Steffen. Steffen works to the corner, getting it to Andreas Lupsig. Lupsig held up along the boards. Two aside, continue the battle.
I know we're just past the midpoint of the first period, but of the Canadian 7 shots, how many have been good ones? Not a whole lot. The one good one by Gretzky, and he scored on it with the power play shot. Not a whole lot of great shots. The German club, they're not sitting back again, Mike. Look at this. The dump in. Curtis Joseph handles it, gets it away from the boards, fires it up the boards. And look at these guys. Look at the defenseman pinch. They have wingers along the boards. They're playing very well to this point. I don't know if they can last all the way through, but they certainly playing well and have their game plan put in place here.
Adam Graves, Pat Verbeek, and Rob Blake among the scratches tonight for Team Canada. Ed Jovanovski and Lyle Odeline are the others among the skaters that are not playing for Canada tonight.
Well, these defensemen every time. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Keeping the puck alive along the boards. Look at Ludeman. He's the number 12, the left defenseman. He's right in there.
Brad Bergen to take this one. Right back along to Leo Steffen again. And Steffen chips it back in. Let's say the first period ends this way. Germany has to feel really good about their game if they're accomplishing what you say they were setting out to do, and that's to slow the game down. This is another one. We're close to 10 icings, I think.
Yeah, they've stopped Canada from dictating the pace of the game to this point. There's Ludeman right there. He's done a nice job as a defenseman following their game plan. I think their game plan is very evident. Keep the puck along the boards in the offensive zone. Defenseman pinching. This fellow right here, Ludeman, played some junior hockey in the province of Alberta at Fort McMurray, which is way up there where it gets a little chilly in the wintertime, but did a nice job as their game plan seems to be put in place. The other area I think they'll have trouble is winning faceoffs. Look at Gretzky dictate right there.
Quick shot on goal. That time coming from the stick of Trevor Linden. Jason Meyer on defense for Germany. Hands a pass ahead. Hecht has a little trouble getting by. Hecht, that first-round draft pick of St. Louis that John was mentioning. It is Cote, bumped to the wall by Peter Draisaitl. Cote going back. Good hit on him by Pika. Still they battle, moving over is Pika, but it's nudged along by Niedermayer. Meyer pinching in, rolling it around. Draisaitl bumped off by Niedermayer. They try the other side this time. Linden is hit by Pika, and carrying is Niedermayer, shuffling on off the linesman, and Gretzky is in, and a save made by Heiss, and Heiss jumps out to cover.
Canada with a little help as the puck went off the leg of the linesman. Gretzky had the bad angle shot. Gretzky skating well.
final teams battle it out as the best players from the NHL and the world compete for their national home teams in the final rounds of hockey's newest challenge, the World Cup of Hockey. Friday at 11 on Prime Sports.
Wyoming heads into Iowa to hog-tie the Cyclones, but the Cowboys never tried to lasso Augusta with the move this fast. Wyoming and Iowa State, Saturday on Prime Sports.
Here's Gretzky getting the 9th Canadian shot on goal, but look at the angle where it comes from. No way in the world a goaltender should allow any type of a goal to be scored from that angle. Yes, it's Canada 1-0 on the power play, but the majority of their shots have not been odd man rushes or quality shots from right in front of the goaltender.
The best line Canada had against Slovakia was Steve Yzerman working along with Theo Fleury and Joe Sakic. That line has been broken up for this game tonight. Yzerman is out there right now playing with Eric Lindros and Brendan Shanahan.
Don't be surprised if they get put back together, Mike, if this doesn't become a bigger score for Canada.
Big shot by Height. Now it's Hagen with the rebound. Shoots one, and that went into Joseph. Boy, Germany wouldn't have wanted a better guy with a puck on his stick than the veteran Dieter Hagen. Rolled around now. Height moving in, but Yzerman got there first. Spun one for Brendan Shanahan. Shanahan yanked it through to Lindros. Wedged by Doucet. Moving to the corner is Yzerman. Getting there first, though, is Eric Desjardins. Back behind to Lindros. Pulling away from the much smaller Doucet and then handing to Shanahan. Shanahan's pass is kicked back, scrambled at the side of the net. Loose puck reached for. Doucet could not come up with it. Lindros could. Lindros steams one to the back. Desjardins wheels, and that one deflected away by Height. Fed to the slot for Yzerman, but chipped away from him, and Germany able to get it back into the Canada end.
Canada down to 5 defensemen as Scott Stevens, who took the body check and was dazed by it, has gone to the locker room. And a moment ago, Desjardins blocked a slap shot on his ankle, but he appears to be okay.
Brad Bergen playing it for Germany. Puck worked ahead by Draisaitl on to McKay, and then worked in deeper past Jan Benda. Curtis Joseph flung it off the glass, and that's a smart move. They're going to have to go high off the glass to beat the pinching German defense. Lemieux has to curl on back. 13 minutes have been played. The shots are 9-4 Canada. Canada leading on a Wayne Gretzky slap shot goal on the power play, 1-0. Brad Bergen back further. Put it through Ludeman. Taken, though, and worked in front for a quick shot. That was blocked off by Heiss. Good opportunity for Rod Brind'Amour on the feed from Primo. Scott Niedermayer down. Trickled one behind. Primo knocked it around, but it's sent by Oostorff to the corner. Sent along by Adam Foote. Worked to Brind'Amour, and then too far for Primo. Another German change. Angled back in by Leipzig. Brind'Amour jammed it back out through Jason Meyer. Back to cover, though, and send it further Daniel Nowak. Now ahead with it Thomas Brandl. Couldn't get the shot away, no matter. Offside with 6:16 to go in the first period, and Canada up 1-0.
The thing about Curtis Joseph, when he has time to handle the puck, he's a goaltender that has to cross his hands. In other words, the right hand on his goal stick changes. It goes to the bottom and his left hand to the top, and you can see how he can backhand the puck up high off the glass. When he does that, that'll trap the forwards in there and give the defenseman a hard time in pinching, handling the puck. So Curtis Joseph doesn't take his left hand and put it down below his right hand on the stick, which would be what you call a left-handed shot. He's got to cross them over. It takes a little more time to do it. Not many goaltenders in the NHL do that. Curtis Joseph is one of them.
Is it just a process, John, of his having learned it that way and then just didn't want to change?
Just a right-handed shot, Mike, and not a left-handed shot. And it's very hard to do it the other way.
Nice beat by Gretzky to Dom Foose, but a save made by Heiss. Pivoting with his Gretzky, tried to send one in front. Nice toss right on goal by Cote, and Heiss blocked that one. Back to Coffey. Shoots one, and that one sailed wide. Gretzky couldn't come up with it. Still working. Penalty coming up. It'll be on Germany. On the delayed call, Gretzky has it taken away by Jason Meyer, and so play is stopped, and a power play coming up to Canada.
And an interference call is the call, and I think it's against the Germans. So Canada will get another power play. The Germans yet to have one, and this is the one part of the game we talked about and the Germans talked about they don't want. They know that Canada's got an awesome power play if it clicks. And at even strength, the Germans have been super against Team Canada. There you can see Gretzky kept on going. His legs have been like pistons, just pumping and going so far in this tournament. Daniel Nowak in the penalty box.
Interference the call at 14-18. There is only one rule change from round one that we left behind us to this round two, and it continues through the rest of the tournament. rather than having a 10-minute immediate sudden death overtime and then a tie. You can't have ties in single elimination, so it will be as it is in the NHL playoffs, 20-minute overtimes all night. Coffey, a shot save. Highest rebound could not be converted by Lindros. He burrows to the corner and has it turned over to Domfus. Then around behind Gretzky. Out in front off Lindros and covered in the crease by Heiss. Let's check in with Jim Fox downstairs.
Thanks very much, Mike. JD, you know we talked to the training staff for the Canadian team this morning about Gretzky, Messier, and Paul Coffey. Their conditioning, it's exceptional because they work out more and more during the summer as they get older, and not like they used to. I don't think they do much weightlifting anymore. It's just running on the bike, cardiovascular work to make sure the heart and lungs are working.
Thanks, Jimmy. It kind of reminds me of what Mike Emmerich and I do. Look at 24 White. No pressure on him, and look at that turnover. My goodness. Height turned the puck over right up the middle, and that cost him a couple of scoring chances against, and the goaltender did a nice job. Pepe Heiss makes a nice save or two after the giveaway. You have to go up the boards, not up the middle with the puck.
Lindros with a shot, juggled by Heiss. Little trouble there. Got it over to Height, and then it spun back down by Draisaitl.
Well, you didn't work out today, Mike?
No.
I missed you in there.
Yesterday? No. We don't work out like George Kingston does. He is an ultra marathoner. That means 50 miles. 50-mile races. Lindros jammed it around behind. Gretzky there, but it's chipped away from him, and Jochen Heck took care of that.
Price of gas in New York. I have a tough time driving 50 miles. Running.
Puck controlled by Sakic. Feeds it back to the point. Domfus over to Coffey. Coffey across for a shot by Sakic that's kicked back out by Heiss. 15 shots by Team Canada, just one goal. Gretzky is the guy who got it. He's got the puck. Gretzky, bad Domfus shot is kicked back out by Peter Draisaitl.
Great goaltending by Heiss on this Canadian power play. He's a stand-up goaltender, and he's showing great lateral movement. Good movement from left to right, right to left. They said that for Team Germany, goaltending is not their problem at all, and he looked a little nervous early, but he's strong now.
Desjardins' shot went wide. 32 seconds to go power play. Paul Coffey flipped it back off Messier's stick. Ludeman put it around behind. Jason Meyer tried to get it there. Battles with Theo Fleury. Turning with it is Shanahan. Got one out in front. Oh, and stoning the man at the front of the net. Mark Messier was Heiss. A shot by Desjardins. And that one blocked high. Oh, Messier, perfect setup for him, and he swung with his best, but Heiss went from his right to his left and blocked it off.
And shots are now 17-4, and the last 5 or 6 have been great shots, and we've seen great goaltending.
The teams are back at full strength. Desjardins moving in. He's got Niedermayer in the pass behind him, and the puck ricocheted behind.
See that very often, Mike? Desjardins tries to feed Niedermayer in front. The two defensemen were in front.
Cleared back out by Leo Steffen, and so Curtis Joseph will handle this. And Niedermayer, 18 shots to 4. Thrown back along by Shanahan. Height pivoting with it there. Trying to play as Lupsig. Checked by a pair. Puck controlled by Leo Steffen. Steffen really hit by Rod Brind'Amour around behind, and now it's Primo taking over. 2 inches, 20 pounds on the average. But boy, there's a lot of fire in Germany. Right back on Brind'Amour. Big shot. Oh, he did not miss by much. He was going for just inside the right post, and he almost made it. But here is Niedermayer. Pass ahead for Rod Brind'Amour. Leads it on for Keith Primo, the big man in. Fed one across. It went off Benda and is cleared away by Heiss. Good hit by Primo on Stefan Ustorp. Taken by Jason Meyer on defense. Down to the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds of a 1-0 game. Canada ahead. Keith Primo matched there nicely by the checking of Daniel Nowak.
And again, Scott Stevens has not returned from the locker room after getting hit on the backboards and was dazed with a head injury.
Ustorp with a rocket that got the glass. Fed back out by Trevor Linden to Brind'Amour. Held off by Benda. Fed nicely back on to Linden. Linden a backhander. Getting a piece of that was Heiss as Gretzky was breaking in.
Almost looks like now, Mike, with the power play that Canada had, did not score because of the fine goaltending of Heiss. But it looks like Canada's picked their pace up a little bit. Sometimes when you don't score in a power play, even though it moved the puck well, you gain momentum from that.
Speaking of momentum, here they come. It's Pika with a shot, knocked down, rebound off the outside of the goal. Pika fighting for it, and turns at the circle, still battling with Foot, and Foot able to get it back out. Trevor Linden and Gretzky in a 2-on-2, they crisscross. Gretzky moving in, has Linden breaking, but is chased off by a pair of German defenders, and it's Draisaitl in the corner, hit by Linden. Tom Foose, wedged by Peter Draisaitl. Tom Foose around behind. These are the battles that Team Canada will win just on size. Height trying to tie his man up.
Should lead to power plays. We've seen 2 power plays by Canada. Both of them were drawn deep in the German zone.
Jochen Hecht right on goal. Swept by Cujo. Works back along now for Messier. Mark Messier lobs one on. Thrown back in by Desjardins off the stick of Heiss. It is Sakic putting it around behind Messier there. Messier hit by Doucet, but keeps going. Mark Messier to Sakic, and the shot well wide. Dieter Hagen chopped it along and back to neutral ice. So it's Fleury in the last 42. Puck taken by Doucet. Doucet, the Montreal-born German player, dumping it back into the corner. Niedermeyer taking over there. Get away from Rumrik, back out now for Sakic. Sakic's pass is slowed, and Fleury moved in, but offside with 26.8 to go. Shot 17-5, but the goal's 1-0.
This is for my grandfather, who always said I'd make the family proud. For my mom, who never let me out the door without my homework. For my dad, who worked the night shift to make our lives better.
Flight 3 Alpha. Spotting.
For myself. For my future.
The preceding arguments for sliding doors on both sides were brought to you courtesy of Dodge Caravan. Just as original as the original.
Look at the goaltending. A great shove by the right leg of Heiss to get to the left side as Shanahan set up Messier. Messier was wide open. That's fine goaltending by Heiss. Great positional goaltender, it looks like. From the Garmisch area of Germany. That would be like Banff, Alberta, or Aspen, Colorado. Beautiful part of Germany. The Bavarian Alps, or Bavarian part of Germany, make that.
7-1 was where the hometown guy from Garmisch beat the Czech Republic to get Germany here. That was on Saturday. And there was a tremendous celebration in Germany, and especially among German hockey fans.
It's been a period where Canada dominated on the power play. The Germans played very well at even strength.
German program given a boost by that, and really by this first period. They haven't been buried yet. 1-0 Canada.
I'm Jim McKay with an
intermission report. We're in Montreal, and after one period of play, a strong first period by the Canadian team, but after one, the score is only 1-0 Canada over Germany. And joining us right now, big power forward with the Canadian team, Brendan Shanahan. Brendan, I want to talk about that first period. Certainly it seemed like the Canadians dominated. At the same time, it's that win or you're out situation. A little bit of pressure.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure. Entering the tournament, there was all the pressure seemed to be on our shoulders, and the way things have gone, we've played well, but I think we haven't really hit our stride yet. So this is a game here where we certainly had a lot of chances. We'd like to start bearing them, and hopefully as the game goes on, we start to pull away a little bit, because we have had the majority of the chances. But you can't let a team like this get their confidence.
You know, it's not always the most fun thing in the world to be an overwhelming favorite going into a game. Did you guys do anything differently in the last couple of days, knowing that you are the big favorite against Germany?
No, I think that this team's been real good at staying calm and letting all the outside pressures stay on the outside. There's enough pressure on our shoulders. The players that we have in our dressing room, they didn't get where they are today because they don't know how to play or prepare themselves. So we let all the outside pressure, kind of weed itself out and try and stay away from the newspapers and things like that. We know the job that we have to do, and we know that we have to improve, and we have to come together and play a little bit better, and we plan to do that.
Well, a couple of years ago during the lockout, you went over to Dusseldorf. Kind of applies tonight. You played in Germany, 5 goals in 3 games. What was that like?
That was a lot of fun. There's a few guys on this team here that I played with over there. It was a good time. It was a nice way to pass the time away over and picked up a little German, Ein Bier, Bita, and all that sort of stuff. And it was a good experience, something I never thought I'd have a chance to do in my NHL career. But it turned a negative into a positive by getting to go over there.
Well, Brendan, I've got to ask you, I know your roommate is Eric Lindros, both guys 6'4", you 215, he's about 230. Who buys the room service?
He's the big guy, but he's also the young guy.
Oh, he's the young guy. Well, we have the veteran right here. Brendan, thanks very much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Brendan Shanahan has joined us after one period of play here in Montreal. Canada leads Germany 1-0. And coming up next on the new Dodge Intermission Report, we'll take an up-close look at one of hockey's all-time great leaders, Team Canada's Mark Messier.
Canada, the new Dodge Intermission Report continues with this close-up on the New York Rangers captain, Team Canada's Mark Messier.
Mark Messier, some would say the greatest leader in all of sport. He's captained Stanley Cup winners in 2 different cities, won championships with Team Canada 3 times. Mark Messier leads by instinct.
I think that I've learned a lot from a lot of people, and I've tried to just approach a game in an honest fashion, game in and game out, and to treat the people that I play with and against with respect, and hopefully that comes back around to you. And other than that, I think it's just, I don't really know what to make of it.
And the long shot is tipped, but Messier fired, but he scores!
I love the game. I love everything about the game. You know, there's not an aspect of the game that I don't really like. I like the practice. I love the travel, the games, the pressure, the people, the camaraderie. I don't think there's one aspect of the game that I don't really like, and that's why it's been easy to play this long. Everywhere I've gone, they've been there to support me, so it's not something I certainly don't take lightly, but it just seems natural for my family to be around where we're at. And you know, we're born and raised in Edmonton. My whole family, extended family, was there in all those years in Edmonton, and now my family comes into New York quite a bit still, and they've been there for the good times and bad times. So that's great.
One of his greatest qualities is he's a better person than he is even a hockey player. So, you know, I think that kind of character is what he passes to his teammates, you know, as well as his family, you know, and he's selfless in that respect, and he's excited when people do well, whether it's his teammates or or members of the family when they're successful doing things. He's really elated and genuinely happy that they're successful. He really doesn't have time for anger or grudges or. Rarely have I ever heard him, if ever heard him say anything negative or derogatory to anybody, even when he's had reasons to do so when they may have said something to him. He just feels that's not worth his time, that he's got more things in life to enjoy rather than to get into that kind of thing.
At some point or another, you get hit with the idea that you're playing for your country, and when that sinks in, and that the pressure starts to mount, and you realize that you're in a tournament. But eventually, that is what's going to happen. Is that we're going to be faced with some adversity, and it's going to be up to us to be able to handle it.
The new Dodge Intermission Report continues. Canada ahead of Germany by a count of 1-0, and here are first period highlights.
With Ludeman in the penalty box, an accidental high stick. Gretzky took advantage of it. Joe Sakic provided the screen. The only shot of 17 to elude Heist, that is, the German goaltender. Scoring chances for Germany. They had one real good one right here. Dieter Hagen in front. Curtis Joseph got back to his feet with a pad save, kicked the shot away. That was as close as Germany came, scoring-wise. A blow to Team Canada. Scotty Stevens ducks to avoid a hit, but he takes the hip of Hagen right to the shoulder and head into the boards. Scott Stevens did not return.
The Mountain Dew stats, pretty decisive.
Shots on goal most of the Canadian shots and scoring chances that were good ones on the power play. A different story at even strength.
Against Sweden, the shots at one point in the second period were 28-5 Sweden, and there was no score in that game. But in this one, Canada has a lead on Wayne Gretzky's power play goal, 1-0. We'll be back with the second period of our contest from Montreal right after this. Dodge Intermission Report continues. Jim Fox and Team Canada assistant coach Eddie Johnston.
First of all, I want to talk about the first period. Seems like things went well for Canada. Germans throw anything surprising at you that you may have to adjust to?
Well, I thought, they forecheck a little different than we expected in the first couple of shifts, but I think the biggest thing for us, we got the puck in deep and play low against them. If we do that, we'll be all right.
The feeling of the team, you seem to come out of the gate pretty well.
Well, we have to come out of the game pretty well. If you look back in the previous games, we've had some trouble coming out of there, so we want to continue to do that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Good news for Team Canada. Scott Stevens is back.
Oh boy, the cobwebs have cleared, I think. It was a good, hard, clean hit on Scott, but he definitely hit his head into the boards on the hip of Dieter Hagen, so he appears to have spent some time in the locker room and seems to be okay right now. Again, you heard the coach, Eddie Johnston, talk about the different forecheck. I agree. The Germans at even strength were pretty good in the first period. A lot of sending two men in to disrupt the Canadian breakout pattern, and then when the Canadian defenseman moved the puck up the boards, the defenseman pinched. And Canada, I would think, spent some time during the first intermission to adjust to that type of pressure.
Before the second period gets underway, as you see George Kingston, who coached Canada in its first gold medal in over 30 years of senior pro at the World Championships in '94, also developed the program in Norway. Glenn Sather, of course, general manager and president of the Edmonton Oilers. A sad day for hockey in that we won't see number 8 wearing the Boston Bruins uniform. Cam Neely has retired. The hip disability just got to be too much for him. The doctors felt that it would not get better, and he will be missed.
Yeah, very emotional press conference for Cam to announce the retirement. Great player, an asset to the National Hockey League. And it's a very difficult decision, but he has to look forward and know that as he gets older, just to have a hip that works. Even if it's a replacement hip, you still have to look to your health, and I congratulate Cam on a wonderful career. He was a great asset to the National Hockey League.
Underway in the second period. Jason Meyer's pass clicked off Mark McKay and back deep. Adam Foote back for this one, given a good bump by Benda. Puck played by Oostdorf. McKay sent a man flying at the front of the net, and it'll be a penalty coming up against Germany. It'll be on McKay.
And Foote's mad, but this is not a good time to go back at McKay. This was a penalty against Germany, a bad penalty, by the way. McKay taking the penalty in front of Curtis Joseph. In other words, in the offensive zone with his team down a goal, and Canada's power play being so good. Now he goes. Will Foote take a penalty after going back at McKay? We take a look at the German player McKay. You have to play 3 years at least in Germany to be able to qualify along with a passport for the German national team. Right in front, look at McKay move right in, flattened Foote. His foot turned around. Foote got upset after the whistle and was not given a penalty, so it will be Canada power play for the third time. The Germans yet to have one.
See the interference wrap at 16 seconds. McKay finished 1 point behind Rich Chernomaz, former Calgary Flame and New Jersey Devil, in the Schwenningen scoring for the Schwenningen club in the German league. One-time Moose Jaw Warrior of the Western Hockey League. Mark McKay is boxed. Draisaitl out to help kill it off for Germany. He'll be working along with Jason Meyer, Daniel Nowak, and the fourth member of the German team is the youngster drafted by St. Louis, Jochen Heck, number 29. Lindros and Coffey and Sakic and Gretzky and Domfus, the attacking Canadians. Sakic tripped up. Sakic sees it fed back off, kept alive by Paul Coffey, but swept back down by Draisaitl. Curtis Joseph just sweeps it back around for Joe Sakic. Early stages, second period, if you just joined us. 1-0 in favor of Canada. The shots in the first are the same right now. 17-5 Canada. Domfus holding. Looks over the traffic and deals back to Gretzky. Then on to Vincent Domfus. Lindros at the front of the net. Domfus just holding. Gives to Gretzky. Onto the back to Sakic. Gretzky again. Fires. Oh, and getting a piece of it was Heise. And the puck tipped loose and fed back out by Rummery.
Yeah, good shot there by Gretzky. Accurate up top. Good save by Heise. And again, on the power play, Canada getting nice traffic in front of the German goal.
And big traffic with Eric Lindros standing there. Messier a shot, and Heiss just hangs on to that one.
A knee-high shot. I think Messier on that type of shot either wants one a little higher or a little lower. So it'd be tougher for the goaltender to control. Heiss with a great save on Gretzky. Look at the traffic. Domfus and Lindros. Now he's able to see the shot. Wayne went high to the glove side. That's always been, for Gretzky, his favorite spot with a slap shot. High to the catching glove side. Even though in this game, his goal was lower to the stick side on the slap shot. A little nick to the upper lip of Gretzky. That's something that has happened in this game.
It is back to Niedermeyer now. On to Messier. 42 to go. Power play. Fleury to Messier. Hurried one in front. Shanahan was there and the puck flew by. Desjardins dealt it off. Taken by Brendan Shanahan. Shanahan deliberately holding. Deals over to Messier. Breaks for the net. Nothing much yet. Messier still holds. Gave it to Shanahan. Backhander score! Shanahan! Power play goal!
Again, it was a bad penalty that McKay took in front of the other team's goal in the offensive zone, especially in a 1-0 game, and you know that Canada has a power play that's really quite good at this level. And here you see the goal scored as Shanahan goes to the front of the net. Fleury had been there. Niedermeyer was there. Messier's in behind the goal. Now watch the quick hands of Shanahan. Forehand, backhand, scores from behind the goal line as Heiss was unable to get across. Heiss has got to get to the left side quick. A quick push with a right skate that should be along the goalpost. It wasn't. It took him 2 shoves with his right leg to get across. And by that time, Shanahan had scored. A goalie wants his skate blade on the inside of the goalpost. Therefore, you push against the post and shove your body across. His skate wasn't, so it took him 2 little shoves to move across, which is too long. And Shanahan able to score and stuff it from behind.
Boy, success and failure on a play like that's just in milliseconds, isn't it? 2-time 50-goal scorer like Brendan Shanahan can uncork it in that length of time, though. 1:53 of the period when he got the power play goal. That has made it now 2-0 Canada. Cote put it behind. Here's Keith Primo. Fed one off the back of the net. Lemieux couldn't get there, and it is brought back up by Hack. Pass across, drilled back in by Brad Bergen. Taken by Scott Stevens. Seems fine after having been hit by Dieter Hagen in the first period. Lemieux with a little tap, and it's swept on back to be taken by Cote and fed back over to Stevens. 2:40 gone, second period. Canada ahead 2-0. Messier and Desjardins get the 2 assists on Brendan Shanahan's goal. Dieter Hagen walking it back ahead. 3 Canadians near him. Hagen a pass. Misfired across the way for Daniel Nowak. Fed back around for Doucet. Hit by Scott Stevens and pawed off. Pika trying to get loose. Got the pass back to Jason Meyer, who put one in front that Joseph had to turn aside. Trevor Linden battling. Dieter Hagen nearly came up with it, but instead it's Cote. 3:15 gone in the second period. Gretzky and Shanahan with the goals for Canada, both on the power play. Canada 2 for 3 on the power play and 6 for 18 in the tournament. 33%. Rubbed back along by Brandl. Brought out now by Lupzig. If they hurry it to 2-on-1, he moves in with Roomrich. It's Lupzig with a wrist shot. Oh, and he got the post! Bouncing puck. Brandl tried to come up with it, but Team Canada lobs it back out.
And Adam Foote had pinched on the play as a defenseman. He was backed up by Dom Foos, but Dom Foos pinched too. You can't do that. The Germans took advantage of it, and they happened to be a goal post away from scoring.
Steffen angled it in, but it's flipped to play. Leo Steffen right after him, and a good wall to the corner by Andreas Lupzig, taken by Thomas Brandl. Centers one, and it comes on back. Goldman able to keep it. Watched by Gretzky, jammed one to the front that ricocheted. Swept away by Brandl, and taken by Adam Foote. Adam Foote from the Stanley Cup champion Colorado Rockies. Misfired on a pass for Linden. Brandl giving it back. Canada taking this opportunity to make a change in lines. Messier's unit comes back out. Fed along by Foote, but Leo Steffen blocked it. Foote yanks it around behind. Eric Desjardins to the Philadelphia Flyers. Lobs it back out. It's gloved down by Goldman and put back in. So once again, Curtis Joseph out of his goal to stop. 20 shots for Team Canada, 5 for Germany in a 2-0 Canada lead. The winner takes on Sweden Saturday night in Philadelphia. Here's Messier in. Messier crosses, had it knocked away by Goldman. Enough for Pika to take it back for Germany. Hands on to Draisaitl, given up to Heck. Jorgen Heck Waits now. Tried to get it over to Pika. Bouncing puck scooped up by Mark Messier for Canada. Messier gliding ahead. Brad Bergen watching him as he angled it in. Sakic to play it there. Trickled it behind for Messier. Then Sakic fed it across. A rising shot is blocked in front by Heiss. A perfect setup for Niedermayer.
All set up with Messier's pace. Back checking, skating with a puck. Good pace. Canada getting much quicker here in the second period.
Desjardins glasses it. Heiss chopped it, but it went into Steve Yzerman. Played back along by Usdorf. Taken out was McKay. Benda giving a hit. Gets back up to play it again. Shanahan there. Stepped into by Benda. Back up the boards. It's laid by Yzerman across for Eric Lindros. The big man from the Philadelphia Flyers lobs it in. Centered one, and Yzerman finessed one that went off the stick of Heiss. Ludeman bringing it back for Germany and sailing one off Joseph stick wide. Out of his net to scoop it along with a big goal stick, but it is taken. Worked toward the corner by McKay. McKay tried for Usdorf, then back near McKay. Usdorf rolling it behind, and Stevens shifts from defense to offense for Team Canada. Connecting back out. Shanahan over to Yzerman. Deliberately they play it behind Joseph Heiss, the goaltender. Shanahan watched by Ludeman. 13:40 to go in the second. 2-0 Canada ahead. Sylvain Cote is in. Shoots one. Pad stop Heiss. Rebound taken by Lemieux. Handed back over. Shanahan, who has the second goal in this game, controlling and shooting one that ricocheted for Jason Meyer. Meyer for Germany put it off Cote and neutralized. Then back to Paul Coffey. Coffey glides ahead. Usually picks the right side, but this time it's knocked away by Doucet, who does not have a stick. So he just boots it back in deep. Just over 13 minutes to go in the second period. A lot of people thought that Germany would not beat the Czech Republic. They did, 7-1. A lot of people thought this one might be lopsided by now. It is in shots on goal, 22-5. 5-0 in this period. But on the scoreboard, thanks to Heiss and some strong checking by Germany, it is Canada 2 and Germany 0.
Team Canada now dumping the puck a lot more, getting control of it. There's Steve Yzerman with Shanahan in front. The pass was from Lindros. Team Canada showing a lot of pace and a lot of dump-ins when they want that forecheck. As Eddie Johnson told Jim Fox during intermission, the coaching staff want the puck deep, and you're starting to see a lot of it now. Germany without a shot on goal here in the second period.
18-minute intermission, and Canada obviously recovered. Changed its style enough to start getting some good chances in the second. Linden bringing it ahead.
And Mike, that second goal helped. It gave them a little, just a little relaxing period on the ice where they could play their game with a 2-0 lead.
Trevor Linden circling. Leo Steffen after him. It's along to Domfus. Hit by Brandl. Linden for Domfus. Brandl on him. Trying to close him off with the body. Doesn't work just yet. Goldman wraps up his man. It's Linden. Little pass across to Desjardins. Fed one in front. It's jabbed wide by Domfus. Now Brandl puts it back off for Leo Steffen. Drop back to Brandl again. And we get a stoppage of play. Downstairs to Jim Fox.
Thanks very much, Mike. I talked to Andy Murray, the assistant coach of the Canadian team, between periods. He told me something very interesting. We've been trying to figure out a way of how they prepare for a big, overwhelming favorite situation. Well, usually the coaches of a team put together a video package, but usually it's positive things that their team does. The Canadian coaches did the exact opposite. They put together a video package of positive things that the German team has done throughout this tournament. In order to build respect for them, the entire Canadian team watched it last night, so they would not come into this game overconfident.
Andy Murray, assistant coach in Philadelphia and in Winnipeg during his career, also coached professionally in the Swiss League, and is the coach for Team Canada's national squad now.
That's interesting, isn't it? What Jim Fox just told us. I haven't heard of that very often, where coaches build good things of the other team so you prepare better for them. That's interesting.
Pika drops it back in. Stevens, who let that good shot go on Heiss a moment ago to play that, but up with a Draisaitl. Hackwood in front, he scores! And Germany has gotten on the board. It's 2-1.
First even strength goal of the hockey game goes to Team Germany. Scott Stevens, he got hit real hard in the first period, missed a good portion of the period, and he does not need to get thumped again. There's a cross-angle dump, cross-corner dump. Stevens goes to get it. You can see the forecheck creates the turnover, and then the puck goes to the front, and right out of midair, the goal is scored. Folks, coaches tell players, cross-corner dump in, it makes the players scoot in quicker to force things. And man, did that happen. Out of midair, it was below the crossbar, so it's not a high stick. And Germany, just like that, Draisaitl scoring, they're right back in the game. That is what you call a great dump in, cross corner, great forecheck taking the defenseman Scott Stevens out. And then the second forward moves in to score. Ideal play for Germany.
Peter Draisaitl with his very first goal of the tournament. He has 4 assists to go along with it. He is Germany's leading scorer. This is 2-1 Canada.
Mattress Mac from Gallery Furniture, and here's a great deal for you. This year marks 35 years of exciting Major League Baseball in Houston. And to celebrate, at the September 7th Astros-Rockies game, Gallery Furniture will give the first 20,000 adults to come into the Dome Stadium one of these great-looking 35th anniversary hats. Wow, come out on September 7th at noon to watch the Astros beat the Rockies. Call 6 Astros now for tickets. If you're one of the first 20,000 adults, get a great hat. Gallery Furniture saves you money.
Special Order Sports brings you the Big 12. Quicker than silver, tougher than steel. Hit the gridiron with Special Order Sports. The Ironmen of the Big 12 are hammering the competition. In the air or on the ground, they're going to make memories golden. Special Order Sports. 12 teams, one strong conference. Time to test your mettle. Call your local cable operator to order this week's Big 12 pay-per-view game on Special Order Sports.
At 8:34 of the second, Draisaitl unassisted, 2-1 Canada.
Unassisted, but it was Heck who moved into Scott Stevens, the St. Louis first rounder, taking Scotty out of the play, and that set up the scoring chance. Oh boy, we have a 2-1 game going now.
Eric Lindros bats it behind to Paul Coffey. Forechecker is McKay along to Lindros. Forced deeper by Oostdorf. Oostdorf and Coffey tie up. Lindros dumped it back out. Controlled by Nowak. Works it on back to Jason Meyer, who has to pivot away from Yzerman's forechecking. Yzerman, a little cross check to the back of Nowak. Pass ricochets ahead. McKay couldn't come up with it. Nowak will turn. Nowak a pass on to Jan Benda. Flips one across. McKay tried to go through the legs. Yzerman had that one swung away by Meyer, and it's a hand pass, and so play is stopped. It's time to take a look at our Men in Fast fact. It has dollar signs all over it. This is the NHL payroll of the representatives. Canada, U.S. have 26 out of 26 all in the NHL. Germany with only 2 players that are in the NHL. So for that reason, it looks a little skewed at the bottom.
That's Oostdorf and Ole the goalie. Ole Kolzig.
Those are the 2, although German players in their own league are paid very well.
Yeah, $350,000 U.S. dollars to Brandel, is it, Mike? Yes, he signed a new deal, and that's what he gets per season. So they do pretty well over there. Talking to George Kingston about East Germany, West Germany before it became Germany, he said the kids still have a pretty good program in East Germany, but when they develop a little more, it's not nearly as good as the Western side. And they're just fighting to find a way to get respect in the hockey world. And they put on a pretty good show here tonight so far.
We are now halfway through regulation time. 60 minutes, 30 have been played. The shots are 23-6. The first 6 shots of this period were Canada's. The only shot by Germany was Draisaitl's that went in. Thomas Brandel yanks one back off. It is kept alive by Desjardins. Floated it well wide. Dom Foose takes it there. Dom Foose swings it behind. Gretzky there. Checked by Brandel. Shoveled one in front, but it is played by Michael Heidt. Given back up to Dieter Hagen and swung on to Brandel. Thomas Brandel trying to burrow his way through. He's taken down. A penalty to Canada. A power play to Germany.
Germany basically made something out of nothing here. It was a good breakout by the Germans, and then when they got to the Canadian blue line, Canada seemed to be in good shape. So Brandel just tried to split the defense, and you could see there, as Niedermayer got the puck, the other defenseman, Desjardins, twisted Brandel right around. Brandel went down, and it's their first power play of the game for this German hockey club. They are using Brad Bergen on the point. Not a big defenseman, but he's there because he has a great shot. That's something to watch for.
To be a player for Germany, you don't necessarily need to be born there, but to have a passport from there. Usually it comes by having relatives or marrying into a family of German parents. You see 5 from Canada, 2, including Draisaitl, were born in Czechoslovakia. Shot right on goal by Bergen. Rebound, and Benda hit the post. It appeared. Another shot, and that one ricocheted away. Boy, I think Benda's first shot went off the iron. Now a drive by Ludeman, and it bounces back out to Yzerman. Swung too far for Messier. High staying in his goal.
All because of a face-off win by Germany. 3 different scoring chances right there. Wow.
Well, ahead with it, laying it across his Hecht. Kick back in, Cote there, bumped by Benda. It's fed around by Oostdorf, back to Ludeman. Back on for Oostdorf, allows it to go to Draisaitl. Rammed by Stevens. Draisaitl shovels, Benda back to the point. Bergen there, he's got a shot. Diving down was Yzerman, a wrister, and it sailed to the glass. Rebound, Draisaitl tried to shove it home. Still they play. Oostdorf to Draisaitl out in front, he tucked it wide. It is Benda, dealing it on into Oostdorf. To Benda, the touch pass to Bergen. Benda to Oostdorf, out in front, backhander save Joseph. No one came to meet him. And it is flipped back down the ice.
And Joseph doing a good job taking away the stuff attempts, the low shots around the goal net by putting his goal stick flat along the ice surface. A couple of nice plays. Germans here just picked up their pace on the power play, knowing they have this chance to tie it. Wow.
I just looked down to make sure there were people here. I thought it was a practice. It is quiet. And there is a reason. Here comes Nowak on. Nowak flings one around behind. It's skipped back over to Doucet, then back to the point. Big shot by Hyde is deflected away by the defense. Coffey got in the way of that shot. It's laid back out again for Sakic. No, Sakic turning on back now to Coffey, and he spirits it back down. 16 seconds to go on Germany's power play. 23 shots to 9. Germany has come up with 3 shots on the power play unofficially. They have to drop back to get control. It's Dieter Hagen. Hagen accelerating ahead, has Doucet with him. Pass escapes over to Coffey. Coffey controlling on the turning stick of Desjardins, fresh from the box. Back up comes Domfus. Domfus to Gretzky. Gretzky fed one across. A shot. Oh, and getting a piece of it was Heiss. The shot by Trevor Linden. Now it is taken by Domfus. Domfus flips one in front, deflected away by Nowak. Kept alive by Desjardins. Nowak goes back to play it.
And Canada, if they look back at the second period, have had some great scoring chances, but haven't finished at the goal net. It's one thing Team USA has done in the tournament. They've finished at the net. Canada has not. They've had some great chances this period, but just haven't finished. Haven't finished the play, putting it over the goal line or beating the goaltender.
So play is stopped with 6:44 to go in the second. Canada by 1.
Here's some of the faithful Canadian fans trying to push their team along. Actually, you know, we've been at games in Vancouver, Mike. We've been in Philadelphia. We were at 2 games in Madison Square Garden. This is the quietest arena we've seen as far as games go. It's been quiet here. Very, very quiet. Not a sellout. A very warm day here in Montreal. Very warm. And again, not quite the emotional crowd that we've seen in the other cities.
No, there is an adjustment time, I think, to a new arena. And I'm not apologizing for the fans here, but we noticed the latter part of last season, once they opened this place in March, that it was much quieter. We noticed the same thing in Chicago after United Center opened. But comparing it to the old place, those were thunderous places not made for concerts. Yzerman in front, and a sprawling play made by Heiss.
All due respect to Heiss, great save, but again, Canada not finishing. They've had a lot of chances in the second period around the top of the goal crease and can't finish.
Pika to Hecht, but instead Niedermayer. Oh, Pika almost came up with that one. Yzerman, nice play on to Eric Lindros. Lindros had to go to the corner for control. Centering pass, Shanahan put it off Heiss. And a 2-on-2 possibility for Germany. Draisaitl joins the play near the end of his shift. A 3-on-2 and the drop back. Goldman blew one off the glass. Germany was in the midst of a change. Scott Stevens for Team Canada. His team ahead 2-1, out shooting Germany 26-9. It's worked on to Jan Benda. Benda with a pass up for Mark McKay. McKay dropped it back. Shot by Michael Heidt went wide. Played along by Oostdorf, given a good solid hit by Scott Stevens. Now it's Cote around behind. Double team, but he got the puck through for Claude Lemieux. Lemieux's bouncing pass skipped on by Primo, chopped along by Oostdorf, and out of play.
Mike, I found it interesting in talking to head coach George Kingston with Germany. You were there and Jim Fox was there, and you asked, what's the official language talked the way you talk about hockey on the bench? And he said,
Hockey German.
Hockey German. And they use cue words.
One of them is Sackgass. S-A-C-K-G-A-S-S, I guess you would call it. It means dead end.
And that means when you throw the puck in the zone, a soft dump in is what we want. In fact, that's what happened on the cross-angle goal dump in that Germany scored. A soft dump into the corner, and they say a word that means dead end. In other words, throw the puck so it stays in the corner. And what was the other one he talked about with meaning cycle, where the players go after the puck in the offensive corner going around and around?
Carousel.
Carousel. So they say carousel on the bench. That means he wants his players to cycle. And the other one, I don't know what you said.
I don't remember it either.
Something to do with dead end. So they use German hockey language.
Brindamore's shot deflected to the seat. Check that to the glass. Up with it now is Primo. Primo chased, but is able to get away. Bumped into by Doucet. And Doucet can move it back ahead. Little pass ahead to Rumrich, then on for Dieter Hagen. Germany trailing 2-1 in this contest. Good checking by Rod Brindamore. Lobs it back out just by the reach of Lemieux. Forced back out by Pepe Heiss. Picked up, though, by Pepe Lemieux. Both of those guys with the same nickname. Right back on to spin it in was Messier. Wrapped around near Leo Steffen of Germany. Steffen able to trickle it back out. Steffen born in Chelyabinsk, Russia, but could not make the major teams there. Moved on over to Germany, and lo and behold, he was one of the big sticks. Back on now comes Brandl. Thomas Brandl with a backhander that went wide. Leipzig put it behind. Brandl stepping to that with Coffey. Coffey got it through to Messier. 4:10 to go, second period. 2-1 Canada ahead. Canada with 2 power play goals. Germany with an unassisted goal by Peter Draisaitl. Gretzky and Shanahan, the power play goals. Fleury is there. His shot deflected away. Good coverage in front by Germany. Mark Messier skates away with it. Back to Coffey. That shot is deflected into the seats. And play is stopped. We'll return to Montreal, Quebec, Canada with more in a moment.
When you've been around as long as we have, you must be doing something right. We make Barsleeks, the #1 cooling system stop leak and conditioner. Factory installed by GM, Ford, and Chrysler, Barsleeks outperforms all competitors and is harmless to cooling system components. So if you take your vehicle in for service or do your own work, reinstall Barsleeks. The automobile is a century old. We've been around for half of it. Road tested in more vehicles than any other brand, Barsleeks, America's #1 stop leak and conditioner.
Sunday, September 15th is Home Day on Home Shopping Network. You'll feel right at home, choosing from the best of what's innovative and fashionable for the place where you unwind, dream, and breathe a little easier. No matter what your taste, tune into Home Day for products that will work beautifully in your home and help realize a dream as Home Shopping Network joins Habitat for Humanity in building a house to make a home. Home Day, September 15th, only on Home Shopping Network.
Germany hanging in right here. One of the reasons, the positive attitude of their head coach, George Kingston. Mike Height, one of the defensemen, talked about Kingston, said he was the most positive person he has ever known. And George Kingston just wants them to chip away and learn something every game. Guys, we talked to Kingston this morning. He told us before he accepted this job with the German team, he had offers in management with NHL teams. But he realizes at heart he's a coach. He wants to teach, and that's exactly why he fits perfectly with the Germans.
And Jimmy, Mike Height is a player who was raised in Calgary, Alberta. His parents moved over from Germany to Canada in the 50s. And an LA King draft choice in 1982.
Puck back for a quick shot by Linden that was saved by Heiss. This guy has been magnificent so far for Germany. Now moving ahead as Linden again gives over to Gretzky for Linden, and from his knees could not convert. Goldman flipped it ahead, knifed down nicely by Dom Foos. Dom Foos crossing, backhanded one off the loose stick of Height. Loose puck in front, score! Linden! And it's 3-1 Canada.
Goldman had trouble moving the puck because Trevor Linden took the body on the forecheck. And this is what the Canadian coaches wanted. Look at this. Here's the play. Now look at Linden go in. Bang. He forced the play. Dom Foos knocks the puck down. The German players have vacated the zone. And then all of a sudden, you're going to see here Germany get in trouble twice. The goaltender, who's been great there, makes a mistake. And 2 mistakes in your own zone against Team Canada. It gives Canada a late second period goal and a 3-1 lead. This is a big goal. A big, big, big goal, I think, for the mental outlook of both teams if there's not another goal going into the locker room. There's still 3:19 to go. But again, Goldman, the defenseman, I can't believe how long he took to move the puck. Linden forced a turnover, and then the goalie made the mistake handling the puck, and it led to the goal.
Linden's first of the tournament. Lindros with a wrist shot, and it is held by Heiss. And so play is stopped. 16:41, the time of Linden's goal that has made this 3-1. No assists on the goal.
Trevor Linden, the captain of the Vancouver Canucks, with a good play. He's a big, strong centerman or winger. And here, playing the wing, he moved in deep, and Goldman delayed. I couldn't believe it. Now here is Heiss having the puck. He fired it off his own player, and Linden just really made sure he took advantage of the situation and blasted it in behind the goaltender. 3-1 Canada.
Here's Stevens feeding in front. Yzerman popped one up in the air. It is gloved down by Meyer. Ustorf trying to play it. Able to sweep from Yzerman, and Cote on across to Scott Stevens. Benda on him. The pass over to Cote. Jammed it back to neutral ice. Now it's Lindros bringing it on. Drops a pass to Yzerman. Yzerman by one. Cruising in front. A backhander. Save made by Heiss. A scramble at the net mouth. And it's loose behind out in front. Cote. A shot went off a leg. Lindros has it. And it is sent to the front. And Benda got in the way. And the Germans remarkably did not give up a goal on the net mouth scramble. And the puck loose.
What a move by Steve Yzerman. Lindros with a sharp little drop pass. And then Stevie Yzerman, who he gave just a couple of moves like a running back in football, a couple of head fakes, and he was in. And then a goaltender put on a show. There he's already beaten the defenseman, Nowak, and he moves in. And then it's survival time for the German club, and they did survive. Boy, oh boy, in Canada, just seeing a loose puck, they went right after it. Lindros moves in the zone with speed. That makes the Germans back up. Now watch the head fake and the little move right here. Bang, inside, outside, gone. What a move on Nowak by Yzerman. That sets everything up. The Germans coming back defensively had 3 players and the goalie inside the goal crease. The Canadians had the puck. Oh, right there, Cote had a chance and couldn't elevate the shot or the puck. And Germany hangs on. Hangs on.
Foot a shot, and Heiss able to deflect that one off the glass and into the seats. 31 shots by Canada, 14 in this period, 9 for Germany, 4 in this period. Gretzky, Shanahan, and Linden the goals for Canada. Draisaitl with the goal for Germany.
Faceoffs have been one-sided too, Mike. The shots 31-9. Canada leads 3-1, and the faceoffs, the Canadian club has dominated, getting puck possession on most draws.
Rod Brind'Amour to take this one. He has Primo and Lemieux with him. Wins it right back to Foot for a shot that ricocheted across. Taken by Rumrink. Rumrink, a member of the 92 Olympic team. Also the one in 94 for Germany. Up played back through Lemieux. Ludeman got it on to Doucet. Bouncing puck near Paul Caulfield. And it's taken by Rumrink. Rumrink, a shot that was saved by Joseph as Rumrink was able to step by.
Tough for a goaltender, not seeing any shots. And Curtis Joseph there showed that he's sharp mentally, makes the save. That's the 10th German shot. One has gotten by him, but it's tough for a goaltender to sit back. You want to handle the puck as much as possible and talk to your defenseman to stay sharp mentally, to stay right in the game.
Paul Coffey works it on. It is played back in by Sakic. Heiss taps it along for Brandel, then along for Steffen. But instead it's Theo Fleury lobbing it back in. Michael Height, former member of the Rochester Americans and the Toledo Gold Diggers. Played that one back off. It is jammed back out. Brandel steps with it there. Brandel moving in for Leipzig. Leipzig with a shot that was deflected. Leipzig again, but it is Desjardins able to nudge it back ahead. Mark Messier brings it on for Canada. Lobbing it back in. Michael Height going back to play it.
That was one of those slow dump-ins to the dead end, Mike.
Head now to Leipzig. Leipzig with a drive, and that turned aside by Joseph. Now Brandel with it. Feeds one back along that popped over near Theo Fleury. Shoved back out to Dom Foose in the final 45 of the period. Vincent Dom Foose just lobs one up the wing for Gretzky, who gloves it. Tucked it out in front. And Heiss covers. And we get a stoppage of play.
Gretzky will do that a lot. Anytime he's around the net, he just puts the puck there, hoping for something to happen. Again, let's look at Steve Yzerman. Watch the little head fake. Running back in football, trying to get by those defensive backs. Wow, what a move. To the back end, and Heiss does it again. He's had 31 shots, been beaten 3 times, and a lot of the shots in tight.
New Dodge intermission report coming up. Neil Smith, the part of the brain trust of Team Canada and also the New York Rangers general manager, completed a 6-year deal this summer with that club, will join us. We'll preview tomorrow's game in Ottawa between Finland and Russia, with the winner to meet Team USA on Sunday. Highlights and more. Gretzky to Linden. But it is put back out again by Peacock. 13 to go in the period. 31 shots to 11 Canada. Scott Stevens just lobbing it back in. Jason Meyer has it there in the final 4. What do you think, John?
I think Canada had a much better period at even strength. The score was 2-1. Canada killed off a German power play, and then Canada's done a nice job with pace and going to the net here in this period.
40 minutes have been played here in Montreal. 4 total goals. 3 for Canada, 1 for Germany.
Welcome back to the New Dodge Intermission Report. We're in Montreal, a close game after 2 periods. Canada leads Germany 3-1. And joining us right now is the Assistant General Manager with Team Canada, the President and General Manager of the New York Rangers, Neil Smith. Neil, I want to talk about the game so far. Certainly it was close for a while, still a 2-goal lead. It's still close. How do you picture it tonight?
Well, you know, Germany plays a very disciplined game. I watched them play 3 times over in the first part of the tournament over in Europe. And the one thing you got to say about them is that they're a disciplined team. They really stick to their system. George Kingston's got them with a strict system, and they really stick to it. And they work very hard. They're not afraid. So we knew that going into the game. We knew how hard they'd work. There's only upside for Germany in this game. Right. And I predicted it's going to be close. I think perhaps we could get a couple more goals, but we're going to have to watch out. We can't take any time off in this third period.
Of course, as the Assistant General Manager of Team Canada, I'm sure you were in on the selection process. And, you know, the tournament hasn't gone as well as everyone expected for Canada, but certainly as far as depth goes throughout the whole Canadian system, the most deep. How tough was it once you whittle it down to the end to figure out who's going to be on this team?
Well, Jim, that's really where myself and others like Bob Gainey and Pat Quinn came into it to help out at the end, because the big players were kind of obvious. Scotty Bowman had some input because originally he was going to be the coach, and we came in at the end. But I'll tell you, where it was really tough was when you get a player like Correa who can't play. Right. You get a player like Mario Lemieux who can't play. Now you're going to fill with 2 other players. And picking those players, would it be a Doug Gilmour, would it be an Adam Graves? Those are the decisions that are very hard, and they're really depending on chemistry and what you need in your lineup.
You mentioned that word chemistry, and there's been a lot of talk about the chemistry following the Canadian teams. Can you sit back as a management person and say, okay, I'm going to manufacture chemistry, we're going to put guys together, and it's going to work?
Well, I don't think that you can really manufacture it in a tournament. You know, chemistry a lot of times comes from guys knowing each other, being comfortable with each other, wanting to fight for each other and play with each other. And you won't know that when you pick players from all different teams until they all get out there together. Usually Canadians, as you know, are pretty good at bonding together quickly, the hockey players. But and I don't think there's been any problem with that on this club. I haven't seen any of it. But it's a hard thing to mix together unless you get a lot of Oilers or a lot of Islanders or a lot of whatever the dynasty happens to be at the time.
Well, certainly with the dual role, General Manager, President of New York Rangers, you have 9 Rangers in this World Cup tournament. How's the nerves right now? Obviously, injury's always a concern. You have so many players playing.
Well, whenever I see Mark or Wayne or Adam or Mike Richter or Brian Leach or Nicholas Sundstrom or any of them go into the corner after the puck or try to get a two-hander as they go by someone, your heart sort of beats a bit quicker because your first concern is for your own club back home. But we're very proud of our 9 players that are playing in the World Cup, and we're very happy. We wish we would have had more players because it's only prestigious to play in the World Cup.
Well, Neil, thanks very much for stopping by.
Thanks, Jim.
Neil Smith, assistant general manager with Team Canada, stopped by after 2 periods of play. Canada leads 3-1. And coming up next on the New Dodge Intermission Report, JD and Mike will preview tomorrow night's matchup in Ottawa, Finland versus Russia, right after these words.
The World Cup of Hockey is being brought to you by the U.S. Army. Be a part of the toughest, smartest army in the world. Be all you can be. By new Speed Stick Gel. It's unbeatable gel protection just for the guys. And by Nike. Just do it. Here in Montreal, New Dodge Intermission Report continues with the score of the game, Canada 3 and Germany 1. Might be a loaded question. We don't want to seem smug about this, but how convinced are you about Canada?
Well, I think Canada has gotten better as the game's moved along, Mike, but the one thing that I think would be a question mark for their hockey club is their inability to finish. They're getting scoring chances. They had a multitude of good ones in the second period, but they're not scoring like we think they should be scoring as a team. I think that's going to be a concern for them. Are they uptight around the goal net? Possibly. They do have a 3-1 lead. They're in control, certainly with scoring chances, shots on goal and goals, but they're usually better than this around the goal net.
And defensively, they're usually better too.
Yeah, well, they played pretty well defensively, not giving up much to the German club, and it's tough to play against a real disciplined club like this. We heard Neil Smith talk about it, and they are leading, but it's not a real loose hockey club yet. They seem to be uptight around the goal net.
Tomorrow night we have Russia and Finland in Ottawa, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. And do we ever have stars?
Well, Finland, led by Timo Solani, a great goal-scoring forward playing in the NHL. And, of course, Sergei Fedorov playing with Russia. They're the leaders going into this game tomorrow night, there's no doubt. Finland plays a defense-first attitude, even though it's an aggressive-type style. They challenge the other team with a couple of forwards near the other team's blue line. Not the neutral zone trap that we're used to seeing. They'll be tough defensively. And Russia, I don't know what to think. In years past, in tournaments early, they play possum. They sit back. Everybody wonders about them. And then all of a sudden, it's tournament time in the playoffs, and they play well. I don't know if they will this time. They're not a cohesive team to this point.
We'll know tomorrow night about 11 o'clock, or maybe it'll take till past midnight. Doesn't matter. We're going to stay with it throughout. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, Finland, Russia from Ottawa tomorrow. Dodge Intermission Report continues in this game that Canada is leading 3-1 after 2 with highlights. Here's JD.
Take a look at some of the action in that second period. Shanahan with really quick hands. Messier waits for him, moves the puck to him quickly to the backhand, and the goal scored by Shanahan. The goaltender needs his right foot against the goalpost and one shove across. Look at the skate is not along the goalpost, so you're going to see a little shove, and then his skate is against the goalpost, and then another shove. 1, 2. That takes too long. By the time those 2 shoves and 2 moves allowed the goaltender to move across, Shanahan had scored. Look at the top of your screen. There's Fleury holding the man up. He does not hold him up enough. That man skated right in, moved in here on Scott Stevens, created the turnover, and with a puck in midair, Germany scored to make it 2-1. The goal itself was one of the few scoring chances. In fact, this was the first shot on goal of the period for Team Germany. Out of midair, the goal was scored by Draisaitl. They were in it. Then all of a sudden, look at the give and go. Why does the defenseman here not move the puck? Goldman just took the extra moment. Linden went right at him. Now a good play as the puck gets to the front of the net. But the goalie makes the mistake handling it. There was Trevor Linden with quite a shift, scoring the unassisted goal to give Canada the 3-1 lead after 2.
All sports stats, 31-11 shots, 18-5 chances, 3-1 goals, all advantage Canada. Jim Fox after this.
Now.
Here again in Montreal, downstairs to Jim Fox and Team Canada assistant coach Mark Crawford.
Thanks very much, Mike. Mark, usually in this situation, we talk to a coach, we want to talk about strategy. I want to ask you, how good did it feel on the bench when Trevor Linden scored that goal late in the second?
It was a huge goal. Obviously, we've gotten a lot of chances here. We've come up against another hot goalie. We just have to continue to bear down. Trevor put that one right in the back of the net, and that's where we want to see them all go, right in the back.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Trevor Linden unassisted at 16:41 of that second period, making it 3-1.
You heard Mark Crawford say bear down. What he means, and I know what he means when the Canadian players get the puck around the goal net, bear down and finish. They've had a multitude of chances. The goaltender's been great, but they've also missed the net on chances and haven't finished the way they need to finish, as they'll see some tough games ahead of them. If they win it, they should.
Mark Crawford finished well with Colorado, won a championship, got a 3-year contract out of it. Our upcoming schedule: Finland, Russia tomorrow. Tonight's winner against Sweden in Philadelphia Saturday. Back to Ottawa for Friday's Finland, Russia winner against Team USA. The 2 Saturday, Sunday winners will meet in a best of 3. Tuesday in Philadelphia, Thursday here in Montreal, and if necessary, next Saturday in Montreal. We should mention that Doug McLean, Florida's coach, got a 3-year deal today.
Congratulations.
Guarantee you get to the finals, you get the 3 years.
That's well deserved, wasn't it?
It sure was.
As was Mark Crawford. Mark, a tremendous young coach. A lot of enthusiasm, very similar to Ron Wilson with Team USA. And Doug McLean did a great job. Great job in Florida with the Panthers. Now they have pressure on it to do it again. Pressure on them to do it again, Mike.
Pressure is just the nature of the sport, though, isn't it? Team Canada has felt some of that. Steve Yzerman flipped that along. Brendan Shanahan along to get it. On back now for Cote to pitch along to Yzerman again. He's got Lindros in front. Cannot get it there because of Jason Meyer. Up along the boards, to a side and emerging with it, Yzerman. Fed one to Lindros, then to Shanahan in front, and it was forced wide. We get a stoppage of play.
Yes, on the near boards. Oostdorf was hit. He may have been hit with Scott Stevens, and it looks like a shoulder injury, Mike. Whenever you see an arm hanging down like that, it could be a shoulder injury.
Boy, oh boy, Washington Capitals watching this are probably very concerned.
Oh boy.
Like most NHL teams, their training camp begins on Sunday of this week.
Let's see, as the puck is moved up, there you see Oostdorf. Oh, he was mixed up with Lindros, and his arm was tugged a little bit. I apologize. I thought Scott Stevens was near him. His arm was pulled a little bit, and you wonder if something popped out, the elbow or the shoulder. You shouldn't speculate, but it appears as though that's what happened. He's being attended to there. Try and get the elbow pad off so they can check him out.
Albert Jacob, the trainer, taking care of that. Meanwhile, Dom Foose tried to play one ahead, but it is brought back up now by Doucet. Doucet with a rising shot, and Joseph hangs on to that, and play is stopped.
We came over to the Molson Center this morning and watched both teams practice, and there was a look of concern on Mark Messier's face. I said, "What's up?" His home is in Hilton Head in the Carolinas, and it's right on the ocean. And of course, the Hurricane Fran, I believe it is, moving in there today. His sister and brother, along with some of the kids, happened to be there, so they got them evacuated. His parents also lived down there, but they were, I believe, in Western Canada today. So a great deal of concern, wondering about family and, of course, property with what's happening with the giant storm.
We hope all is well where you are, and trust things will go well with the people on the Atlantic coast. Here is Dom Foose moving. Dom Foose fed one in front off of Linden, and a save made by Heise. Rebound kept alive by Foot. Played around to Wayne Gretzky, who feathered one in front. Missed 3 German players. Here's Coffey moving in. Paul Coffey tried to center. Dom Foose up with it. Fed one in front. Flagged down by Height. Scramble there, and it was put off Height. And picked up and just lobbed back out again by Doucet.
This Team Canada line of Linden, Dom Foose, and Gretzky have had more shots than any other line, and there's another one by Dom Foose. Gretzky's been shooting more than normal, 5 shots through 2 periods. Linden had 5 shots through 2 periods. Dom Foose had a couple, and they've had 2 or 3 more here in the third.
Bringing it back is Ludeman. Ludeman with a shot off the glove of Joseph into the glass. Now Steffen on back to Bergen. Bergen shoots one. Knocked down in front. Brandel can't get to it. Chopped along, and Theo Fleury walks it ahead. Little pass over for Messier that misfires. Chip back out again by Brad Bergen. To take it is Niedermeyer. Pursued by Brandel. Got it back ahead for a play to be made by Sakic. Moving past Ludeman. Sakic going in. Ludeman just hung on enough to make a play one aside and flip it along. It is Desjardins. Fed one for Messier. Plays it off the boards. Mark Messier. Then Fleury. Then to the corner where Sakic just now getting up. Thomas Brandel to play that for Germany. And Brandel hit high and hard by Messier. Looks over at Dan Marawelli, thinking there might have been a penalty. Cranked back in again by Desjardins, and it's wrapped around near Fleury. Theo Fleury with a rising shot off Heise. Jammed away by Ludeman. 2 minutes 45 seconds played in the third period. Canada 3 and Germany 1.
And the German defense appear to be tiring a little bit. They've had pressure deep in their zone. They're smaller than Team Canada. I think they're wearing down somewhat.
This is Claude Lemieux on back now for Cote. Puck picked up by Brind'Amour right out in front. Score! 4-1 Canada.
You can sense that Canada is getting stronger. Their size is starting to show. And this German hockey club deep in their own zone, not clearing the puck quickly, having trouble with rebounds and having trouble with the bigger Canadian bodies. And Canada gets another goal to make it 4-1. There's still 16:55 to go here in the third period. Rod Brind'Amour of the Philadelphia Flyers. We get credit for this one. You see the puck not moved over. Cote does a good job keeping it in the zone, and you can see the open ice with the defenseman having trouble. It was almost a delay and a fake pass across to Primo, and instead Brind'Amour put it past the goaltender Heiss on the near side. 4-1 Canada.
Rod Brind'Amour from the Philadelphia Flyers connects on the fourth Team Canada goal. So Jason Meyer with a pass that skipped off Draisaitl.
Good job by Cote keeping the puck in the zone for Canada to lead to the scoring chance and the goal.
Brind'Amour with a pass in front that just skipped away from Lemieux. Germany bringing it back up. Jochen Hecht able to roll it by, but can't get by the larger Scott Stevens. Cote connects back over with Brind'Amour, then out to Lemieux. He yanks it on for Primo. Hecht got back to check him. Primo coming to the bench after that check by Hecht, but both of them coming off on what appears to be just a routine change of lines. No trainer attention to Primo. Puck blast back along, but an offside call. Early stages, third period. Canada ahead, 4-1.
I'm Jim McKay with.
If you're a fan of the Washington Capitals and of hockey, it's good to see Stefan Ustorf back on the ice. A couple of moments ago, he left with a sore left arm. He was flexing it during the television timeout and is staying up on the left side here, playing left wing. Flexing his arm, it's sore, but he's out there, so it's not a serious injury.
Puck deflected off Lindros and back down. Going back to get it is Michael Heidt. And we get a stoppage of play on the icing.
This morning, we were watching who the backup goalie would be, and there it is. It's Marty Brodeur. Bill Ranford not dressed. We also noticed in the newspaper here that Patrick Waugh, who some thought should be the goalie for Team Canada and is not, there he is signing autographs, and this is during the game at a store in part of Montreal. There's a big advertisement in the paper here today. Come and meet Patrick Waugh from 7:30 till 9 at this certain store. He'd be signing autographs. Meanwhile, Team Canada's in Montreal playing in a hockey game.
In '91, he did not play for Canada. He had sinusitis.
Right.
And was not chosen for this one. Here's Lindros wheeling in, and a save made by Heiss. Centering pass, ricocheted off Heiss, and it's forced wide by Foot. Michael Heidt to take it there. Dropped it on along, and the puck picked up by Shanahan, dealt on into Lindros. Lindros tried to finesse one in front, and it's dumped back out by Mark McKay. I mentioned Michael Heidt had played in the International and American League. I said Rochester. They are trying to get hockey back in New Haven, and I shouldn't shortchange them. He was with the New Haven Nighthawks for 2 years when he was a Los Angeles farmhand.
Then he went back to Calgary, went back to school, and finished his university, then went over to Germany to play hockey. The New Haven Nighthawks. I played for them for a couple of weeks. Mike, it didn't play well either.
I was going to say they're trying to forget that back there. Jason Meyer was the guy who played for Rochester. He was not only a player, he was an all-star defenseman with Flint in the International League. American League has produced almost 45% of the players in this tournament competing for the various nations in the tournament.
Now, Rochester won the American League Championship this season, correct? Farm club with the Buffalo Sabres. Right or wrong? Wrong, maybe? Tell me.
Dom Foose. Desjardins, he said, changing the subject. Desjardins and back in. Shaken back off a glove of Dom Foose. Bouncing puck picked up by Linden. Linden wheeling back in again. Puck controlled and dumped back out again off of Niedermayer. Niedermayer hooking one along that is followed up by Rumrick. Rumrick just moving in deep. Checked by Niedermayer around behind. Still the battle continues. Dieter Hagen trying to play. Around behind, it kicks back over for Gretzky. And Gretzky can walk it back up ice. Pass flew by Dom Foose. Follow-up comes from Linden. Linden feeding one out in front, and Dom Fusa's shot went wide. Fed around behind to be played once more by Bergen. Shoved back over to Stevens. Stevens with a shot. Deflected to the glass. Taken by Brandl, and Brandl starts it ahead. Lead pass was too far for Leipzig. Moving back for that was Scott Stevens, and touched up for an icing.
Just to let you know, Rochester won the American League Championship. Just thought I'd let you know.
You know what? You had me, and you knew you did all along.
Sometimes, you know, we're in early September, and sometimes you go a little blank, you know. Jim Fox has something for us downstairs. Jimmy?
Thanks, guys. Obviously, Scott Stevens back on the ice. Between periods, I talked to Ken Lowe, the trainer of the Canadian team. Now, he trains for the Edmonton Oilers. He knows most of these guys well. But remember in the first, when Scotty Stevens had his bell rung, Kenny Lowe ran out on the ice to attend to Scott Stevens. He knows Scott Stevens is a quiet guy. He said Scotty wasn't saying anything at all. He said, Scott, if you don't react, if you don't talk right now, you're not going to play for the rest of the game. Scotty Stevens said a couple words, and he's back in there.
Yeah, he said, I want to play. And with his ability, he should be playing. Good stuff.
It is Cote, rammed by Brandl. Brandl working along, Cote all over him. Bottle up comes from Leo Steffen. Tucked a pass that is flagged down by Fleury. Canada has this well in hand, 36 shots to 13, 4 goals to 1. And John pointed out accurately that it is just a matter of fatigue for Germany. On to the back now. Stevens, a shot deflected by Messier off of Heiss. Boy, Heiss has just been splendid tonight. A good part of the reason his team is here, a decisive win over the Czech Republic 7-1. And they got off to a roaring start early before he had to make too many saves. But his appearance in the net seemed to pick his team up. He had not played in the tournament. An interference call has been whistled now.
Messier got nailed by Brandl. Brandl goes to the penalty box for a couple of minutes after Mark Messier had a couple of words with him. Thomas Brandl goes 2 minutes for interference. He picked off Mark Messier, like you see in basketball, the pick play. Knocked Messier right off his skates, actually, and the referee was standing 4 or 5 feet away and made the call.
Canada has Eric Lindros to work with Dom Fuss and Wayne Gretzky. Sakic as well as Coffey.
I think Canada with a 4-1 lead in a comfortable position, but on their power play, you want to continue to work it in a game situation. That's why Sakic is playing the point. We've mentioned throughout the tournament when he's been back there, he's got that great wrist shot, and he'll use it all the way from the blue line.
Michael Heidt fires it back down. Remember Butch Goring, coach of the Salt Lake Grizzlies, the Denver Grizzlies the year before. Twice in a row they've won the International League Championship. Dom Fuss rolling it around behind. Back along now to Gretzky. 2 of Canada's 4 goals have come on the power play, both of them earlier in the game. Gretzky at 3:09 of the first, and Shanahan early in the second. It was 2-0. Canada had outshot Germany 17-5 in the first. But Germany was still in this thing, got a Draisaitl goal midway in the second to make it 2-1. Linden late in the second, and Brind'Amour here early in the third. 4-1 Canada. 37 shots to 13, the difference. Puck fed back now for Joe Sakic. Just over 12 minutes to go, third period. Coffey angled one across, but it is brought right back out again. Worked on a cross for Ludeman. Ludeman with a head-high screamer to the glass. Gretzky walks it on back with Lindros. Gretzky fed one at the net mouth, and it was deflected away. It looked like Heiss got a piece of that as it was coming across. Shoveled back down the ice by Ustor.
So, Mike, a 3-on-1 for Germany, shorthanded. Ludeman puts the puck over the head of Curtis Joseph. That trapped all 3 of those German players, and Canada came right back with a scoring chance.
Desjardins a drive, and a save made by Heiss. Desjardins again, rolling it along to Messier. Then tripled along further for Niedermayer. 22 seconds to go on the power play. Niedermayer then on to Fleury. Theo Fleury looking, giving it to the back to Shanahan. Then Niedermayer again. Desjardins plays to Niedermayer. 5 left on the power play. A pass steamed through for a combination play that failed for Shanahan in front. Good conception by Desjardins, but it was just too stiff in front. Penalty time is up. Offside is called. 10:54 left in the third, and Canada by 3.
Germany down 4-1, had a 3-on-1. Make that a 3-on-2 now. Look at this shot. when you go high and wide with this, it just traps everybody. 3 German players can't get back into the play. Look at Canada come back. They have a 3-on-1. Gretzky, who's such a great playmaker, watch this pass. Bullseye, and it went off the heel of the blade of the stick of Shanahan. Shanahan's had 5, 6, 7 scoring chances in this game, and he hasn't been able to finish. He's been all around the goal net and just hasn't been able to find a way to make the play count deep around the goal net.
He rests for now. Go ahead.
Sorry, Mike, my fault. Coaches always tell their players, when you move down, especially with bad angle shots, hit the net, because if you miss the net, the puck rings around the glass of the boards and it just traps all your teammates.
That one went off Steffen right in on Joseph. Able to flip it away. Steffen to play that along to Brandl. Brandl around behind. Centering attempt fails from the stick of Leipzig. And it is played back on to Lemieux. Lemieux just guides it on back. Jason Meyer plays that one. Lemieux knocked it along further. Rod Brindamore stood up. Oh, between the legs pass by Primo, but it's walked out by Leipzig again. Andreas Leipzig put that one right into Joseph's catching glove, and he finesses it behind. It appears Canada-Sweden Saturday night in Philadelphia. In the old Canada Cup, there were 5 of them. 7 times those 2 teams met. Canada won 5, lost 1, and tied 1. The loss came in the round robin of '84. But Swedish hockey has improved markedly in that time.
Talk about hockey around the world when you start talking about all these different countries involved. The population, as you see, with each country, the number of players. In other words, on the right side, 1 of 33 in the country of Finland play. You see Canada, 55, all the way down to Germany, 1 in 3,000. Wow, USA 1 in 660, and that's dropping dramatically. New ice rinks popping up all over the place as the youth of America really getting involved with the rollerblade programs and the ice hockey programs.
Just try to walk the streets of New York if you don't think they're involved.
I can remember quite a few years ago being in New York, and Herbie Brooks was running the team, and this fellow shows up from Minneapolis, a friend of Herbie's, and he wanted to start this rollerblade company. Yeah, looking for investors. I'm busy, don't pay attention. Another X on the calendar.
4-1 Canada ahead. Yeah, one of the things that you would have done, right? Yzerman turning it along the foot and then over for Coffey. And back down. Pepe Heiss wheels it back around again, just away from Hex, on back for Coffey, and a shot pinballed loose off of Yzerman. But it's controlled by Coffey. Finesse to Yzerman, then to the slot. Shanahan, good quick shot. And hanging on was Heiss. What about the nature of hockey in Germany? We know about the World Cup victory they had over Canada, but in general, the state of Germany's hockey program expressed by George Kingston.
Hockey in Germany has a great culture. You know, the fans at the top really are very supportive. But underneath, the infrastructure needs to be developed. You need to have more facilities, more opportunities to play, more equipment that would be in line for players to get into the greatest game in the world.
And do they ever enjoy the games? And they aren't quiet.
Oh,
and
boy.
They don't need the urging of scoreboard music either.
Well, they have the barbecues there, too, for about 3 hours prior to the game. Like, I played in Dusseldorf exhibition one time, and they had an outdoor arena, just a roof on it, but nothing on the sides. 5,000-seat arena was full. The game was over. They sit on cushions, I guess, to keep the fannies a little warm. Then they throw the cushions on the ice after the game, win or loss. They have a blast. George, by the way, lives in northern Montana during the summertime. Flathead Lake, a beautiful area. A lot of NHL players playing in Calgary and Vancouver live in that area. They're a little more to the high rent area, a place called Whitefish, but beautiful mountains, lakes, gorgeous area.
We asked George today what he would really like to do over his career, and he said, I'd like to at least go another couple of years in Germany because I really believe in the program and I think it can get even better. But then I'd like to do some work with an NHL team that has a chance for a championship. I've never been involved in a Stanley Cup, and I'd sure love to be.
He's certainly a gentleman. We wish him all the best. As he said, though, in Germany, there's no quick fix for their hockey program. They have to build it the right way to become more competitive worldwide.
Offside pass for Joe Sakic, and so play is stopped with 8:20 to go, third period, and Canada in the lead by 3.
Prize.
All right, we're jamming. I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming, and I hope you like jamming too.
Being a leadoff hitter, you're setting the table for the team. You get on, steal a base, you score a run in the first inning. I mean, the team gets excited, the fans get behind, and they're excited.
The Rockies and Astros, Friday. Coverage begins at 6:30 on Prime Sports.
The Huskies are going to have to endure the heat of the Sun Devils if they want to leave the desert with a win. Saturday at 9:15 on Prime Sports.
Barring anything unchanged, Glenn Sather and his squad will be turning their attention after tonight's game to Sweden, and Sweden is something that would draw a lot of attention. They have in this tournament.
Matt Sundin has been spectacular for them. And you know what else, Mike? They've allowed only 3 goals. 3 goals against total so far in the tournament. That's awesome defensive play.
Tommy Salo was in on one game. Tripped up was Dieter Hagen. There'll be a penalty to Canada. And Tommy Soderstrom. They have been the goalkeepers. Soderstrom is likely the guy that we'll be seeing on Saturday in Philadelphia. Used to play for the Flyers, so a lot of the fans will know him well. Theo Fleury, check that. Scott Stevens, I'll trust you. I should trust you on the American League too.
It was a turnover, and it looked like the German club right here. Dieter Hagen looked like he was going to head in, and Scotty Stevens, a defenseman, got his stick involved with Hagen's feet. So a power play for this German squad. Only their second power play of the game.
Second of the game. Overall in the tournament, they are 5 for 22. Off the tie-up, it's back to Height. Here's Height firing, and that one knocked down. Sakic leads ahead to Eric Lindros. Can Height get back? Lindros right across. Rising shot, got the glass. Sakic turned around the boards by Daniel Nowak. Germany can get set on its power play. Little hook put into Lindros by Mark McKay. Lindros just a one-man gang back there. Fed ahead now for McKay. Nudges a little pass for Doucet. Doucet fed one across, and Hagen spiked it on the glass. Loose puck. Joseph fighting the puck around. It goes behind. Fed out in front, and it'll have to be chased down by Ludeman. 1 minute, 17 seconds to go on the power play. Dieter Hagen, who has had a couple of good chances in this game and normally buries them, a little frustrated at how things have turned out for him and his team tonight.
Sakic lost the faceoff to start the power play, and then he did a good job getting loose and blocked the shot. When he blocked the shot, he then gave the puck to Lindros, and here's what Lindros did. He went to the forehand and tried to get it up. He got it up, but it was outside of the goal post. He ended up missing the net on the play. That's all shorthanded. Lindros showing some good skating shorthanded. He would like to get scoring some. He's had problems scoring, or hasn't scored much as far as points go in the tournament. And Canada knows that for their good scorers such as Lindros, he's got to get points. I think just 1 assist so far for the big guy.
Absolutely. One of the points being made in Canada, and of course they've become very critical of this team because the expectations are so high, was that Lindros did not have a goal, that Trevor Linden did not have one coming into play tonight. Defensemen who they expected to be offensive in this series, like Scott Niedermayer, had not scored yet either.
Fleury had a point in each game, does not have one so far in this one. So his streak's on the line.
Yzerman could not get the shot away because of the checking of Ustorf. He was really winged earlier. It looked like he had his arm or his shoulder pulled, but he was right back out without much delay and has played on a regular basis here the rest of the way for Germany. Ludeman able to move it back, but then it's just nudged on by Niedermayer. Prize money for teams that make the final 6 begins at $50,000 for the team and goes up to $300,000. That's in Canadian funds. So should Germany go on to lose this, they will carry away some prize money. During the preliminary round, every player got a flat $2,000 a week. And then the prize money is divided up amongst the players and the ice hockey federations. 6:08 to go in the third period. Canada 4, Germany 1. Coffey checked off. Thrown to the front by Benda. Second chance by Jan Benda is blocked down. Moving up with it is Gretzky. Lays it for Stevens fresh from the box, but across 2 lines. And so play once again is
You
stopped.
see a little play like that. Only people that are special hockey players read plays. Gretzky was fighting for the puck in his own zone. As that was happening, Scott Stevens stepped out of the penalty box, and Gretzky somehow knew that happened. And bang, a quick pass, but it just was offside by a hair at center ice for a two-line pass.
Omnivision is what his type of vision has been called, and very, very few athletes have it. But Wayne Gretzky seems to be able to see almost 360 degrees. And the anticipation, of course, is probably honed by that sharp vision.
I think the vision in the hockey sense is better than the speed that he has. He's never been what you call a great speedy player. Yeah, but he knows where everybody is, and he can make the good passes. His wingers always say, just be ready, because somehow he'll get the puck to you. Adam Foote takes Canada's third penalty in the game. High sticking call. All three of those penalties, by the way, have gone to defensemen. Canada has a pretty good blend of left-handed shots and right-handed shots amongst their defensemen. 3 lefts, 3 rights for this game. On the face-off, as you see the man driving to the net, there's the stick right up across the chin from Adam Foote, who's an aggressive player. He's a tough, aggressive defenseman. He got caught this time and is in the penalty box. On the other side, where Germany does not have the depth of the players to pick from, they have, as far as right-left goes, Mike, defensemen, 5 left, 1 right-handed shot. Canada has the perfect blend, 3 lefts, 3 rights, perfect balance. Germany, 5 lefts, only 1 right. So that is something they could improve on as time moves along to make their team more balanced.
They have the power play now. Ludeman with a shot that went off the glass. Trevor Linden flips off Ludeman, followed up by Eric Lindros, and he sped it deeper. In terms of digging a puck off the boards, because we noted earlier how well they were pinching, it would seem that having mostly one side shot would be a difficulty. Here's Lindros trying to center. Second effort, and it's tapped away. Plenty of Canadian players there. Stevens along to Lindros again. And he's just able to clear it back out and continue to kill off the penalty.
Oh, and teams scout and make trades, Mike, as we have an offside here delayed. You know, you have lefts, you have rights. Some defensemen have no trouble playing both sides. Some do have trouble. They can only play the one side.
A lot of it is, I would think it would be reaching across. You had an illustration earlier on Curtis Joseph, the goalie, but it's the same sort of thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. Sometimes very hard to stop the puck coming along the boards when you're on your backhand side.
George Kingston has been credited with a lot of what is developing in Norway now. He was one of the builders of the Norwegian hockey program, which has improved markedly. One of the things he was saying was it was difficult to get the people in Norway, the athletes interested in team sports. Normally in the Winter Olympics, for example, they excel in individual sports.
Cross-country skiing, downhill skiing, skating, as far as speed skating goes, all individual. You don't see baseball and football and things like that over there, which happen to be team sports.
Offside pass. Let's hear more from George Kingston about what he's proudest of most with this German team.
I think the key thing that we're dealing with here is a similarity between the North American spirit, passion, emotion, intensity. The Germans have all of that, and they bring it to the table. And it's a very similar environment to coach in, and that's one of the reasons I decided to go to Germany to do this.
Well, the fans have passion too. One of our observers who had been watching games over in Germany on a regular basis said that without any urging, there's just constant singing during the game. From the middle of the second period to the end of the game, it was the same song, and it was over and over and over again. And when the game stopped and they played the German anthem, everyone was politely quiet. They started the song again and marched out to various refreshment centers, still singing and chanting the song.
Go to those refreshment centers before the game starts too, Mike. They get it. Those barbecues.
It is Meyer connecting back across. This one flipped on now to Mark McKay. Set back along for Yzerman. Gretzky plays it through to Yzerman. He's got Cote coming along with him. Yzerman looks for Cote. Got the pass there. And a backhand attempt was stifled by Heis. 2 seconds and 1 on the penalty to Foote. Now the teams are back at full strength. Jan Benda in for the big drive. And that one went off the pad of Joseph.
Gretzky was the man back. I don't think he was going to block that slap shot, Mike. He let the goaltender see the shot. Curtis Joseph with a save.
I'm Jim McKay with another update from the 2020 Global Games. Little Jacqueline Keller captured the gold today on the highly uneven bars, while Austria's gentle giant Milos dominated the one-ton powerlift. The highlight of the day so far was the record-breaking 300-meter dolphin relay.
The world of sports has evolved since all sport. Now with B vitamins, athletes need to unlock carbohydrate energy. It's more than a thirst quencher, it's a body quencher.
Coming up later, the graduated hurdles.
As a rule, engines develop good torque only when you push hard on the accelerator. But even at idle speed, a Dodge Magnum V8 can pull not only this loaded Ram 1500, but this loaded 2500 and a loaded 3500 as well. 15 tons. That's because every Ram truck has to pull much more than its own weight, even at idle speed. That's our rule. Dodge Ram. The rules have changed.
Another sneaky quick play by Wayne Gretzky. 2 men to him, a little backhand pass. With that little pass, it's an instant 2-on-1. How does he read those plays? Yzerman, unselfish, puts the puck in front. The pass doesn't quite work, and no goal. But again, it was a sharp pass by Gretzky that set it up.
Ludeman jammed it along, but Lindros burrows ahead. Eric Lindros hit by Ludeman. Fleury tries to step by. Usdorf able to just lay it off the boards and back down. 3:25 to go, third period. Canada 4 and Germany 1. John, it's a tough one to do and play, but I'd like you to size up Canada's play tonight and how you think it does or does not help them in trying to get ready for Sweden, or whether it's just like two different things.
No, I think they wanted to find something to build on. They've gotten better as the game's moved along. Some of their goal scorers not scoring yet, as you mentioned earlier, Mike. And again, I've mentioned a number of times they're not finishing yet around the goal nets at all. Shanahan's certainly been around the net a lot, as he is there again. Sweden is a team that plays an extremely patient defensive game. They've given up 3 goals in the preliminary round, and they will rely on defense in the neutral zone. And it's a very patient style, and then they'll counter if they get the chance. And they do have some great players who can finish. People like Mats Sundin. Mats Sundin's had a fabulous tournament. He's been Sweden's game player in all 3 games they've played. They'll be very hard to beat, very tough to beat. Canada will have to play, in my mind, a very emotional, tough, physical game. One that doesn't go over the line that costs them penalties.
Scramble at the side of the net, and it is rolled along by Rumrik and dumped back out.
In the other game, too, Finland-Russia tomorrow night, and we'll be showing that game. I don't know what to think of that, because I don't know what to think about Russia.
Here's Brindamore with a rising shot that got the glass. Well, you'd mentioned in the game against the United States that you really hadn't seen a team from Russia or the old Soviet Union that seemed to be so disheveled.
Yeah, they're not playing with the urgency that a team needs to play with. We hear rumors about them not getting along with their coaching staff. Boy, again, past history shows that they can just sit back in the prelims, make everybody think they're not that good, then turn it up. I don't know if that's a possibility this time around or not. But I'm really interested to see how they do against a good defensive team such as Finland. Desjardins, did he get nailed by Pika here? Right up in the face. The referee missed that one. I mean, Pika just moved across and went headhunting. Desjardins was knocked down, had the helmet knocked right off. I don't know if that was a payback for Pika or he just felt like getting aggressive late in the game. There he is.
Not a very big guy, but that's the story of the forwards. He's one of the taller ones they have up front at 6'1", weighs 187. Participated for Germany in the '95 World Tournament. 9 years in the German league. Leo Steffen fires this one back in, and Joseph sets it up. 13,422. Disappointing turnout here tonight for a game involving Team Canada. Puck played along for Shanahan. Some of the feeling, I think, in Canada was not only they want to save their money for the next round, assuming Canada would be there. Penalty coming up, it'll be a high stick, probably on Lindros. Yeah. The other thing, too, was that I think most people here considered this a gimme.
Lindros just moved into Brandel and flattened him. I think that's a payback for what Pika did to Desjardins on the last shift. Hey, you got to pay when you play hockey. Here's the upcoming schedule again.
Finland, Russia, Canada, Sweden. Team USA is resting. They will play in Ottawa on Sunday against the winner of tomorrow's game, and Canada-Sweden on Saturday.
We should see some great hockey starting tomorrow with Finland-Russia. Canada-Sweden will be a real good game. That game is in Philadelphia. It'll be a good one. Lindros, I think, knew that he had somebody here he could go in and nail, and did. He could have been a lot meaner too if he wanted to. Perhaps that was some form of a payback for the hit by Pika on Desjardins a moment or two ago.
It was Eric Lindros that won a game for Canada against Germany in the '92 Olympics when it went to a shootout. Just as Canada faced Sweden in a shootout for the gold medal in '94. This was a preliminary game, and it wound up being Lindros scoring on a penalty shot in the 6th inning of the shootout, and Peter Draisaitl, who is in the game tonight for Germany, putting one off of Sean Burke's pads that lay on the goal line dead. And with that, Canada won by what the game was called a 4-3 game.
Sean Burke, the Canadian goaltender, the Hartford Whaler goaltender. His dad was there, and he couldn't stand it. He couldn't watch. He went outside, and he was walking the streets of Maribel by himself while the roar was going on inside the building. He just couldn't handle the pressure of watching his son play goal in a shootout that develops after overtime without anybody scoring the winning goal. His dad by himself walking the streets, hoping that his son was good enough to help his team win.
Curtis Joseph was with Canada, and so was Martin Brodeur. Those are the only two carryover players in last spring's World Championships, in which Germany won decisively. But this is a decisive win for Canada tonight, 43 shots to 15. Martin's father is here tonight working in an official capacity, as he has for over 40 years in Montreal, as the forum photographer and the photographer for the Canadians. Oh, nice backhander by Oostdorp that is held by Joseph.
His dad has a book coming out, Mike. Photos of goaltenders.
Yeah, I knew.
Just thought I'd mention it.
I know. There is. No, you know, for a moment I thought that, but he would have had a camera. He might have had as good a location as that one, but
those have to be Le Grand Fromages, Mike. Big cheeses to sit in the first row behind the home team bench here in Montreal.
With no glass. Very civil here. Don't need that. Here's Draisaitl. Draisaitl fed one that went between the point men and back down. And so we are in the final 38 of the third period. Canada 4 and Germany 1. George Kingston said our goal in this game is to earn respect for German hockey. Playing not to lose is not the way to earn respect. I don't think they played to lose.
I think they played pretty well. This is a team that was a huge underdog. They challenged in the first period. They took a couple of penalties. The second one in particular, a bad one. And that led to Canada getting their power play going. And then Canada's size started to show a lot as the game wound down. And their goaltender played well, Mike. We knew that would be a strength for them. And now for Canada getting the win here, they've got to find a way to finish, as they'll play a very tough game against Team Sweden. And it should be an entertaining one.
Should it ever. Tonight, Canada defeats Germany to move into the Final Four. Final score, 4-1.
Ever since the Phi Slamma Jamma days, people have called you Hakeem the Dream. I've often wondered, what does the dream about?
One of my dreams already comes true.
Now I'm really curious.
I've always dreamed of finding a friend in the car business.
You don't have to be Hakeem the Dream to have a friend in the car business. Let Bill Hurd Chevrolet prove to you that we'll do whatever it takes to be your only place to buy Chevrolet.
Bill Hurd Chevrolet, 59 South, Sugar Land, exit both ways.
Believe it.
Special Order Sports brings you the Big 12. Quicker than silver, tougher than steel. Hit the gridiron with Special Order Sports. The Ironmen of the Big 12 are hammering the competition. In the air or on the ground, they're going to make memories golden. Special Order Sports. 12 teams, one strong conference. Time to test your mettle. Call your local cable operator to order this week's Big 12 pay-per-view game on Special Order Sports.
It's their turf. It's their world. It's their game. And when we don't play by their rules, the results can be deadly.
From the creator of the award-winning television series Wild America comes a home video unlike anything you've ever seen. These are nature's dangerous encounters, captured in one of the most astonishing wildlife films ever made, and available now for the first time as a special one-hour home video. Call this toll-free number now to get Dangerous Encounters for just $19.95. It is not available in stores. Order now, and you'll also receive Watching Wildlife absolutely free. That's right. Both of these extraordinary programs are yours for just $19.95. Call now.
For rush delivery, get your credit card ready and call 1-800-592-1222. That's 1-800-592-1222. Or send your check or money order to the address on your screen. Call now.
Wayne Gretzky was named the #1 star. Going through the line, Germany will not move on, and so the handshakes take place. Noble hockey tradition continues. Gretzky, the #1 star, Shanahan #2, and Joseph Pepe Heist #3. You see the final statistics, John.
Shots on goal, very one-sided. Scoring chances, very one-sided. The power play got Canada going early, and they move on to play Team Sweden.
We'll have that one for you Saturday. USA will play Sunday, Finland and Russia tomorrow. Final score here from Montreal, Canada 4, Germany 1. We'll be back to wrap it all up for you right after this.
If I give you a clean sheet, what will you write? Will it be poetry or just plain English? If you have something to say it now, for soon my sheet will be filled, and this chapter will end, sure as the next will begin, with a clean sheet, new authors, and a million possibilities.
Weeknights on the Discovery Channel. Wild. Just how close can you get? Just how aggressive can it be? Survival. Every weeknight all week. Sometimes it's speed and style. Sometimes it's numbers and amazing strength. Awesome and untamed. As fast and streamlined as survival gets. Hunters. Hunters of the African Plain. On Wild Discovery. Every weeknight at 8 Eastern and Pacific on the Discovery Channel. Explore. Explore your world.
It has vents in 22 locations, storage compartments in 12 locations, 10 speakers in 8 locations, cup holders in 14 locations, and lights in over 20 locations. So now you know the secret to Dodge Caravan's user-friendly design. Location, location, location. Dodge Caravan, just as original as the original.
The World Cup of Hockey has been brought to you by Discover Card, proud partner of the Smithsonian's 150th anniversary. By All Sport, now with B vitamins. It's more than a thirst quencher, it's a body quencher. And by the Discovery Channel. Explore your world. Shot total on the night in the 4-1 Canada victory. Canada moving on to play Sweden on Saturday. 43 shots for Canada, 16 for Germany, 12-5 in that third period.
Canada basically just did what they had to do, Mike. They had to come out and take care of Germany. It was tough at times, but they got the job done, and now we see the best teams in the tournament get together for the playoffs. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Good night to all of you. 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Finland, Russia. 8 o'clock Saturday, Canada, Germany. USA standing by Sunday to play the winner of Friday. And then the good stuff gets even better next week. Good night from Montreal.
Prime, serving America's great